the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, sir. So
I had a feeling.
She is the same fuckboy as her fucking father. That nuclear shirt is bullshit, and she can shove that shit straight up her ass because
there you go.
That shit is just disgusting. And she's a disgusting person. I'm not even gonna give her any more of my time because she's a fuckboy, and I really cannot fucking stand her. So
shame on them that you would want to make this the face of your company. It tells us who you're about. Shame on AJ for wanting her name on it. I will never give them a second of my time if that racist bitch is a part of the show. I know her dad was a bit of a dick. I didn't really know him personally, but as Dave Chappelle once said, a lot of people saying it. Racism is taught. You're not born with it. If you have a Mexican, a black, a white, and you let those kids kind of raise themselves and keep fucking parents out of it, there's not going to be a racist bone in their body because racism is definitely taught.
If there is a person or people that still supports Tessa Blanchard after the fucking shit that you know she says and does and is, go fuck yourself. There's not a place here for you, and go leave and go be about your business.
Maurice, who married the Miz, I don't know why, but I don't think she knew I was available. I think that whole thing would have took another turn had she known that I was single and eligible at that time.
I'm sorry, Kenny.
Yeah, oh shit, I'm 10 pounds man. The Miz is. Come on, let's not argue that.
I'd pick you if I wasn't taken. It's okay.
There you go.
Whose ass do I need to whip?
We've been married 12 years now.
Well, you're bound to be sick of his ass by now anyway. So let's just move on and get a fresh start.
It should have been me instead of the bitch.
It should have been. Paul's wife was cheating on him, is all I can tell you. Chrissy, what's with the look? Chrissy, you don't think Paul Ellering fathered that, do you? Come on.
Paul Ellering watching the show.
As always full of laughs, good times on the Tru Heel Heat flagship weekly podcast. We are back on this Saturday, and it's time. Second fantasy wrestling draft, all African American wrestlers from the past and the present. We have the great NWA Podcast affiliates here with us from Post Wrestling. It's going to be another all-time show. Producers, hit the intro.
Welcome to Tru Heel Heat, the place where we use insider terms because we think we know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we don't. My name's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 147 WWE versus AEW Tribal War. We are back once again with a week of professional wrestling to cover with the latest wrestling news, including WWE versus AEW becomes the Friday Night War with WWE SmackDown Supersized going head-to-head with AEW Rampage. The Rock's status for Survivor Series pushing back his Roman Reigns WrestleMania showdown. The real reason behind Bray Wyatt's release. Top Dollar versus the Young Bucks in Sneakergate on social media. Tony Khan actually accidentally links the full card for Full Gear. Recap of the week in wrestling. Preview of AEW Dynamite tonight and the G1 Climax 31A and Bleed Block Finals, as well as Crown Jewel, plus much more, and our second fantasy wrestling draft. As you see, it is a different cast of characters with me. Top Guy JJ and Miss Chrissy Love are put in their PTO time. Hangman Page is back to work, so they are off of work. So I am here with an esteemed cast of colleagues, some you know from Tru Heel Heat, some you've seen before, and some that are new to you. First up, he's going to be my tag team partner for today's fantasy wrestling draft. You know him from Blunt Impact. You know him from Fusion of Honor. You know him from Joints and Jabronis. He used to be the Roundtable Rebel, but now he is a full-time character on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. The three-time baby-making champion. This is Ness.
Tru Heels, what's the deal? Glad to be here on this lovely Saturday morning. Filling in for top guy JJ. I hope I can be as great as a partner for SP3. Makeshift tag team, Mega Powers, the Negro Powers. Oh yeah, brother. That's what we're doing here. Oh, other hand. There we go. Yeah.
There you go. And to be our judge, we had to get someone who is fair and impartial, and who better than the head of the Tru Heel Heat legal team. You know him from Dark Power and Fusion of Honor. He is the man of 1,004 numbers. He is the StatKing.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Wish I had a gavel to be the judge and jury, but yeah, it's gonna have a great time. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. And our opponents for today's fantasy wrestling draft and our very special guests, they are from the Nubian Wrestling Advocates podcast, a podcast that I've been on that I am so proud and happy to, have a little part in and be on that show, because they do so much to promote African-American professional wrestlers, African-Americans in pro wrestling media like ourselves. So I am very happy to have them on. First up, he was with us on the All Out 2021 preview. You guys loved him so much, and his 5 stereotypes for African Americans in the WWE. He is the brother, Nate Milton.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. Glad that we can open up that for Blackened Door one more time and had this crossover with the Tru Heel Heat, and I'm so excited for what we're gonna talk about today, gentlemen. But here's the thing. I'm super black today. Like, I'm black every day, but I'm super black today because in preparation for this episode, I just got through watching Lee Moriarty and Bobby Fish on the AEW buy-in last night, and I just watched The Kings of Comedy on the Pluto TV Black Cinema channel. So you, SP3, you live by the hope factor on this show. People like me and Chris, we live by the wish factor. We wish a mother would try to come for us in this draft, because we got something for y'all gentlemen today. So it's all love, but once we get to this draft, brother, your fantasy is going to become a very, very sad reality very quick, my friend.
Oof.
I love it. He's opening up with the promo. He sounded like a preacher at his church, trying to make the believers believe and have the spirit within them. And for the first time on screen, but he is someone that has contributed a lot to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel on the live chat with his super chats. He is one of the most intelligent and knowledgeable people that I know in this wrestling media game. He is the Professor Kris. What is going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just chilling. I don't have the exuberance that Nate has. It's early out here, but I'll do my best.
We are glad
it's 8 o'clock, man. Damn, what y'all want from me?
He's on the West Coast, people. You got to be fair to the man. He's just waking up. But please, brothers, I try my best to give y'all an introduction, but let us know about the NWA podcast, what you guys been doing over at Post Wrestler, whether it be Nate or Chris. Let the people know who might be new to you, fellas.
Well, I'll go, Chris, so just real quick. Like, this is an idea, and I think a lot of people associate the show with me, SP3, just because, like Chris said, I'm the one with the exuberance and the loud voice. But this was actually Chris's idea. Chris came to me with this at least 3 years ago, like maybe even longer than that. And we were, trying to think of how we could do a wrestling show that spoke from our perspective, spoke from our voice as Black wrestling fans and Black media members, and also how could we promote this Black talent that is so often underserved and underutilized. And so we started it over at the Kings of Sport. We did probably about 1.5 years of shows at the Patreon, and then Post Wrestling, John Pollock and Wei Ting, they two of the best dudes in this whole entire media game, and they were like, hey, would you like to bring the show to Post? And I think at first Chris and I were a little apprehensive, because it's one thing, and this SP3, it's one thing to do your thing on your platform, but then to kind of take it to somebody else's party. And you're wondering if it's going to be accepted and viewed in the way that you want it to be viewed. But thankfully, man, like, for the most part, the post wrestling audience and everybody else that's heard the NWA, they've dug it, man. And we've had people like yourself, Rich Fan, on the show, Righteous Reg, like Andrew Thompson, the good brother Andrew Thompson brings us the news every week. And it's just great to have a show for us, by us, where I can say my piece and then clear the lane and let Chris. Because if y'all ain't never heard this man Chris Ely before, like, this man is a professor, but he is schooling us each and every month on the NWA podcast. And so, like, this is a great time to be a wrestling fan, a great time to be a black wrestling fan with everything that's going on in the culture right now. And, we're just happy that we can be a little part of that.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we try to do on our show is we like look for black angles in the stories. Like, I don't know if we consciously do this or unconsciously. Like, if we're going to talk about Ric Flair and that whole plane ride from Hell stuff, like, I'm trying to get Thea Vidal on the phone, because she tells this story of old middle-aged guy in 2005 or what, I don't even remember the year, but just exposing himself backstage, so it's like, how do we make this as black as we can make it, but still keep the integrity of the story?
Yeah. And not get John and Wwe in any legal trouble.
Right.
You got to be careful of that. Yes, I really appreciate what you guys, have done, and really putting, the African Americans in professional wrestling, which sometimes it gets overlooked, and, the way that it can affect African Americans, whether it be the fans, the media, or the professional wrestlers. You really put a spotlight and a focus on it. So that's why we are very proud to have you on the show. And that's why today's fantasy wrestling draft is not just anyone. We are first one with the distraction, or as I like to call it, the distraction screw job, because distraction had all their fans in the live chat to vote for them. This one will be fair and down the middle, as StatKing is here to be fair. We got our producers in the background to kick out any people who might be biased, so stay away from the biased comments. But trust, we will have a much better first pick than me and JJ had in that first one. But this is why we are focusing on African American wrestlers, to celebrate them from the past and the present. And that's why I think this is going to be even better than our first fantasy wrestling draft. And this edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our friends over at Warrior Wrestling and Powered 4 TV. We also got to plug our Patreon account, patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. You can get even more exclusive Tru Heel Heat content. We'll have the post show later on today over there. Check out Tru Heel Heat 146 post show with Kenny Bolin, as you saw in the clips from the footage from Tru Heel Heat 146. It gets even better on the post show, as I left the stream and allowed Kenny Bolin to try to seduce the very married Miss Chrissy Love. So check that out. That's worth the price of admission right there. And we got to start things off with our Tru Heel roll call. Got to shout out a couple of our supporters on social media and the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Coming in at number 3 in our top 3 conversation starters are Gene Bismo. Coming in at number 2, Jessica V. And number 1, he's already in the live chat. He is the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, here with us every week. We always appreciate you, good brother. Couple of Tru Heels we got to shout out. Slam and Sammy Joe, who is also in the live chat with us this morning. You, my boy Blue, Robert Haynes, Steve Salvage, EBB. A lot of those guys are already Patreon backers. So $3 a month, just $3. You get a whole bunch of content that we got up there. We got John Moxley versus Nick Gage live watch along with StatKing and Romeo. We got the Escape the Undertaker watch along with myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and Romeo Cameo over there. We got me and Jay News reviewing the first half of the G1 Climax 31. Me and Chris G reviewing Heels Season 1 on Stars, my favorite show on weekly television right now. So check that out for sure. YouTube subscriber highlight. We got Beep Boop on our Many Faces of Luna Vachon Dark Side of the Ring review, saying the full circleness for me is that I thought Luna was cool when I was a kid. Then it turned out she was had mental health issues and addiction issues. Then it turned out I have mental health and addiction issues. Learning about Luna and her struggles helped inform me about my issues. It's weird how important wrestling has been to me and learning about life. Thank you so much, Beepu, for that comment. Very interpersonal and showing a little bit about yourself. So we love comments like that. We also got Fancy Land. Ibi Beeple saying, hey, Jonah Rock is great, but using an expectation of him to drag down Hangman Page / Kenny Omega is ... Wow, it was a choice. And that was on AE Ramble when Marcus Cash said that he wanted Bronson Reed to be the Joker card in the Casino ladder match instead of Hangman Page. Yes, he legit said that on air, live on air, right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. So check that out, and check us out tomorrow on AE Ramble number 13 as we review tonight's Saturday Night Dynamite. But let's get right to it. StatKing, you are the judge on this. This is round 1 of our fantasy wrestling draft. As per usual, we are going to concede the first pick to the visitors, the NWA Podcast. You have 3 minutes to consult with one another on what you want your picks to be. We have 5 picks per round. We're going to separate this. We'll have a little bit of what we miss, a little bit of the news like we usually have on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. But round 1, to Chris and Nate and StatKing, you can take it from here with the judging and keeping times and keeping the picks. But take it away, NWA Podcast.
So before we begin, and Chris has taught me this over our years of working together, we got to know the rules first because we saw the rules last night on Twitter. But there are two questions I have. Number one, these picks we choosing. Like they're in their primes. Regardless of when they wrestled, we're choosing them in their primes. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, are tag teams counted together or separately?
Tag teams are 2 people. We will not do stables. I saw people talking about
we're not doing WWE
stables.
Rules.
We're not doing WWE
No free
rules.
bird. No free bird.
We don't even have like a specific pile of wrestlers for this round and then the next round and then no, we're not like WWE rules. You can't pick 2 members of the New Day and then pick Hit Row. You could pick 2 members of the New Day, 2 members of Hit Row, 2 members of whatever other black stable you want to pick. It can only be 2.
Okay, so with that being said, Chris, so many great black wrestlers over the years, man. We advocate for them all. But I think and this goes back to one of my other podcasts on Post Wrestling. If we got the first pick in the black wrestler draft, there's only one man who transcends all of them, Chris. We're taking that drive down to Boney Boulevard. Check it in to the SmackDown Hotel. The first pick of the NWA Podcast, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna pick too. It wasn't even close. No one else was close. Yeah.
We don't even need the full 3 minutes.
it's like
what we doing here, SP3? You knew who it was gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, like whoever had the number 1 pick, like that's like if you don't pick The Rock, you pick Britt Baker instead. Like it's just like it's like that's the most obvious one. You don't do an NBA draft all time and not pick Michael Jordan number 1. So
I'm gonna go with Frank Kaminsky.
So the clock is on us, Ness. What are you thinking here? Because I got a couple of people. Because I figured they would go with The Rock first.
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
So I had a couple of people in mind. I think that a very obvious choice out there is the WWE champion, Big E. If you go that route, I think we should go with Kofi and Big E of the New Day. Because, if we just leave Xavier out there, they ain't going to pick just Xavier. Yeah. So we basically had just picked the New Day regardless. or we can go the women's route, where this is different from our first draft, where in picking a woman, we are picking an all-time great and a top draft pick. And I know you know who I'm talking about, because she's your favorite.
Oh, yes. Since we're all inclusive, we're here for the men, and we're definitely here for the women. So Sasha Banks, that's where I'm going with, off the top of my head with the list. How do you feel about that?
I think we are in agreement. One of the all-time great women's wrestlers. We are all about inclusion, and we want the women's vote. We got to have a couple of women voting in the in-chat poll. And if we get Sasha Banks with our number one overall pick, we are already going to the women. We may, so I'm with it. Sasha, number one overall for Tru Heel Heat.
Yo, that is an excellent pick, fellas. We applaud the diversity, man, and the inclusion. Like Chris and I, like we haven't conferred about this, but I know Chris got a little draft board, and I got one too. And Sasha was in my first 4 picks, so that's a good one. But Chris, they left somebody on the table. They've just mentioned this man's name. And last week on the NWA podcast, we gave this brother his last name back. So you want to pick up this man with our number 2 pick?
Oh yeah. You talk about Big E?
Big E Langston, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and lock that in.
Mm-hmm.
That is fair. Big E Langston, number 2 overall for the NWA podcast. Very high draft pick right there. I don't disagree with that at all. So we could cut their legs here, Ness, and go with what my original thought was, and go with the other 2 members of the New Day.
Oh yeah, and then we can't give them all of them. We can't give
them all of the New Day. So let's go with Kofi and Xavier. We are picking the New Day with our number 2 overall pick.
That's fair. It's a good pick. We just as bad as the WWE. We always separate each other.
That's on y'all. Y'all pulled the Raw move. I gave y'all the alley-oop and said the smart pick is picking Big E and Kofi, because no one's gonna just pick Xavier. And y'all went out and did the Monday Night Raw move and just picked Big E.
See, look. Yeah. We did that though, because I don't want Woods to be out there like that, man. So at least now he got his brother with him,
which confirms that nobody was just going to pick Woods by himself.
I love Xavier Woods.
Some people would think about picking Kofi by themselves, and you guys pick Big E, but no one's going. I'm sorry, Woods. I'm sorry.
We love Woods though, man. That's that brother doing things.
And by the way, with this draft pick, we also get up, down, down. Just saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, just saying that, like,
y'all got them outside opportunities now.
Exactly.
So I mean, that to be fair though, we got all the Rock's movies, including Doom.
That's true.
Including
but
Doom.
you also got Tooth Fairy. You also got Tooth Fairy. Just saying.
Right.
Hey, we got Black Adam coming out too. Come on now, yeah. It's the pick that keeps on picking. Chris, what you thinking, man? Like, I know I done talked a little bit here. What you got? I know you.
So
you got
I do think we need some feminine energy on our team.
Yes, we do. Most definitely.
I'm torn between Bianca Bel-Air and Jade, but I think because Bianca's been world champ, we should probably pick her.
Yeah, like you know how much we love Jade Cargill, Chris. We talk about her all the time. Definitely a star in the making, but I think if we're going like who's there right now, Bianca's there right now. So let's be fair and pick Sister Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Solid pick right there. That was definitely in my top 5 picks for sure. So what are we thinking here, Ness? I'm thinking that we can get some sleeper pick at this position, or we can go with one of the more named. There is other African American WWE champions that we can go for and look at. There's some African American Impact World champions that we can look at. There's also a certain ROH World champion.
That's where I was going actually.
Fusion honor.
Yeah, the first generation, the greatest first generation wrestler, 2-time ROH world champion, my favorite television ROH champion, Jay Lethal, a certain.
But wait, before we stamp that in, You go the smart move. Don't pull them with the Big E Langston. Let's pick the foundation of Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham.
And this is why I am the stand-in and you are the star here, sir. Jonathan Gresham, yes, one of the greatest pure champions of all time. His run as they revamped the pure division, immaculate. So I would love to have both the foundations, Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham, together.
So just to confirm, since you guys took 2 tag teams back to back, that's all 5 picks for your first round.
No, those are all
individual
one pick.
picks.
Yeah. We could pick tag teams as one pick. So we have 5 people in total through 3 picks.
Wait,
strategic thinking.
I've got an issue. What if it's an interracial tag team? Like, what if we how does that work? Does the white guy get left out?
Evan Bourne is not black. If you wanted to take him with Kofi.
Yeah.
Yep. It's over. Now you gotta. Evan Bourne cannot be picked on his own. CM Punk and Kofi Kingston can't go that route.
James.
No, you can't do any of those. Can't do any of those, ladies and gentlemen.
But arguably, Team Tru Heel Heat does get Jordan Grace.
That is true. We are bringing connections right here. But go ahead, guys.
Okay,
it's on your 4th overall.
Our 4th overall pick. I think it's time to start dipping into these tag team waters, Chris. And there's so many great black tag teams over the years.
I know where they go.
I think, Chris, they got the New Day. I'm thinking of a great black tag team. But my cup's a little empty right now, Chris. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. I'm picking
we going with them boys, Montez and Dawkins. We locking it in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we go.
lock it in.
Chris with the suspense. Yes, we going Street Profits with our 4th pick. Get them cups ready. Your boys.
Damn!
Damn it.
I thought you were picking Men on a Mission. God.
That's why we got to communicate.
I love that.
Yes,
I love that. That popped me. That popped me so much right there. Oh man!
Look at the 5th pick.
Ness, you gotta take it.
I'm gonna say I'm really gonna hand it to you for that pick, because that was on my draft board in my top 5 for sure. I was like, we gonna kill them in the first round with these fucking tag teams. We gonna go New Day, Street, the Foundation, and Street Profits. But
I say, look, you got me with the first 2, but like you ain't gonna get me 3 times, brother.
But Ness, since he mentions Men on a Mission, me being a Harlemite, Men on a Mission was one of my favorite because they from Harlem. But let's pick the number 1 tag team from Harlem. Let's go with the Harlem Heat. Although Booker T is not the biggest fan of Tru Heel Heat after the comments of Top Guy JJ is not here today, and Booker T is a 5-time WCW champion. He's won the TV title, the US title, the King of the Ring, and Stevie Ray is his brother. So let's pick them.
If obviously, if you guys haven't noticed, the 3-time, that's where it derives from. Of course, we got to go with Harlem Heat.
That's a good pick, despite some of Booker's comments recently.
Yes. Yeah. This is in prime Booker. This is not post wrestling. This is not his after career. Booker T. We are only getting Booker T and not his thoughts on professional wrestling.
Okay. All right,
so Romeo is here. Romeo, our off-screen judge, is here.
StatKing, you're the stat guy. You got to correct these guys. These guys are not from Harlem.
Oh, come on.
That's fair.
They are from Harlem by way of Houston, okay? Men on a Mission are from Harlem by way of Memphis.
There's a Harlem Avenue and Harlem neighborhood here in Chicago. Harlem is worldwide. Let's just
exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, and by the way, guys, we see all your comments. Keep them coming in the live chat. Of course, super chat donations are always appreciated, and we will make sure we highlight your comment, your thoughts, who you think won round one. We definitely want to hear from you guys in the after this first round is over, as Brother Nate and Professor Kris will give their fifth and final pick of the first round.
So, Kris, in a lot of times, like in fantasy drafts, you'll see runs happen. Like if you're in an NFL draft, first couple rounds, everybody's going running back. Then as soon as somebody picks up a quarterback, it's quarterbacks for like the next 10 picks. And I feel like we in a bit of a tag team run right now, Kris. And so, you know, I like the strategy of what our brothers of Tru Heel Heat are doing right now. But the one thing you and I have, Kris, on these brothers is maybe a little bit of experience, man. A little bit of appreciation for the history of this sport. And particularly a little company called WCW, man. And there's one team that not only comprises a brother that was just a natural,
yes,
but also a brother that you don't step to because he was the first black world champion. We taking Doom, Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, put it on the board.
Ooh, that is a great pick. That is a great pick. Yeah. They went with Doom, yo.
I'm actually wearing a Farouk shirt right now, which is crazy. A Nation Domination shirt. That's
you helped him. That's why you.
I know I did. It wasn't intentional.
This is why I was really
let me back on the show if I didn't pick Ron Simmons. Like that man loved him some Ron Simmons.
I was really about to hit them with the knockout punch at the end with picking Ron Simmons, the first WCW Black African American champion, but. Ness, I want to hear what you think because I have an idea here, but I want to hear what you think. What do you think we should go with our fifth and final pick in the first round?
Which I want to hear your idea since you're already. I kind of got something, but I would like to hear what you got first.
Like Brother Nate said, when the quarterbacks come in, it just keeps coming in, and my mind is spinning on tag teams, and we already allowed them to separate one tag team, and we got the two other members, which was a smart first move to start this domino effect. But since they picked Brother Ron Simmons, aka Brother Farouk Assad, aka Brother Farouk, we pick his stable, and we go with D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry of the Nation of Domination.
Not mad at it.
I'm all for that. I was thinking Mark Henry. But let's add D'Lo for a little bit of sauce, yeah.
Better recognized.
Yeah.
Better recognized.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark and D'Lo. Not mad at that one at all.
Slamming Sammy Joe in the comments saying Nation of Domination still up for grabs. We got it. We got it already, Joe. You read us.
But to be fair though, like I don't want to cause no dissension amongst the culture, but we got the two best out the nation already on our side with Farouk and The Rock. That's all I'm gonna say, Kris.
Yeah.
We got the leaders.
Arguably, I'd say D'Lo is the most underrated from the nation.
And we got the Black Heart, Owen Hart too. Shout out to that brother.
You literally only got his heart because that's the only part of him that's black.
Shout out to that man, Owen Hart.
But yes, let us know in the live chat what you guys think about the first round. StatKing, do you want to give us the review of the NWA podcast pick and our picks?
All right, so I feel like this first round got to go towards Tru Heel Heat because by picking multiple tag teams, there's a lot of championships, there's a lot of gold that came your way, a lot of history. The Rock is a huge pick to start off. That, I mean, especially if we're also including just impact on the culture, on the world. It's tough to beat that. But you guys battled back. I mean, Kofi Kingston, just the history career that he's had, plus that WrestleMania moment that he had, absolutely incredible. So I don't know. I gotta give it to Tru Heel Heat for this first round.
So our judge is giving it to Tru Heel Heat. We got in the live chat here, super chat donation from Vala B saying, as much as I love D'Lo, and I really love D'Lo, NWA Podcast won round 1. Rock is an automatic win. Yeah. When you got the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, like, y'all there parsing words and shit. Come on, man. Like, well, since Kofi had that moment, what moment did he have after that? Come on.
8 seconds of a moment, but that's WWE's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, see, man.
That's why you don't never want to cross the professor. That man knows everything. He keeps receipts itemized. The brother's ready.
He was ready for that. He was ready. He wanted us to pick Kofi so he could get that line in right there. That was the payoff. That was the payoff. That's why he was like, yeah, if you just want to pick Biggie Langston, I got this in my chamber to just break down these guys picking Kofi. I respect it. It's a nice strategy. But StatKing, do you want to give the rundown of who the NWA podcast picked in round 1?
We have it running across our ticker for you guys watching at home. But for the first round, the NWA Podcast picked The Rock, followed by Big E Langston, Bianca Bel-Air, the Street Profits, Bonstead Ford, and Angelo Dawkins, Doom, Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed. And the Tru Heel Heat team picked Sasha Banks, Kofi and Xavier, The Foundation, and Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham, Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie, and Nation of Domination with Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown.
Yes. Great round 1 from both sides right there. We got Jeff Lopez in the live chat saying Mark Henry is underrated. CM asking a question, does that mean Brett can be drafted? What about Jeff Hardy? talking about
we know Brett is down with us. We
all saw Jeff Hardy at Teddy Long's wedding. We know that Jeff Hardy got a little soul.
Yeah.
Oh wait. That means Cody Rhodes can be drafted with his ability to end racism single-handedly.
He can end racism, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop giving away our picks, man. Cody was gonna be our first pick in round 2.
Akeem, the African Dream, man. We got a bunch of them. Like, it's up for grabs.
Johnny be bad.
Johnny That's a great
No. Don't tell me I'm the only one here that legit thought Johnny B. Bad, Mark Merrill was black for years until I was old enough to realize and look it up.
That was the greatest moment in the history of the Kings of Sport when Marcus Vanderberg was on the show. Like one day we got on to some topic about WCW and he brought up Johnny B. Bad and I was like, Johnny B. Bad ain't black, right? He's like, what? I said, yeah, I think he's like Italian and Jewish or something like that.
Yes.
And so we had to go to the Wikipedia, and Marcus was like Marcus Vanderberg, a journalist that has worked for Yahoo, ESPN, all these different outlets. And Marcus Vanderberg was speechless because he found out Johnny B. Bad in, I think this was like 2019. He found out Johnny B. Bad was not a black man.
Only in America, ladies and gentlemen. Only in America can a man perpetrate being black for that many years, ladies and gentlemen.
And we let him get away with it too.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody mad at Johnny. Johnny can come to the cookout.
Absolutely. For all he did, Little Richard impersonator and all. Coffee Field, Sammy Joe saying have to go with NWA for keeping Profits and Bianca together. Nick Jackson saying no, Cody. CM saying nope, not Cody. Super Heel Rhodes and Vala B correcting us saying Kofi is half Cuban, not black. We know he's not black. But he is solving racism. Yep. All right,
it's Cody Devontae Rhodes. Man's full government name, Cody Devontae
Vala B,
Rhodes.
You were giving away that you did not watch WCW when you were a kid, or you did not watch WWF when Mark Merrill came in because he was black. He was black.
Yeah.
His skin color, the way his gimmick was presented, it was all screened black. Tell him, Chris, you the professor.
Oh yeah. He had a Teddy Long with him and stuff, and he'd be like, "Oh hush, Teddy."
Pretty much like a wrestling version of Little Richard, and we all know Little Richard black. So
yeah, he was appropriating across the board. Mark Menorah.
Yeah,
it's very true. And
he did it in love, though. Like he did it in love. Unlike some people in the industry.
We opening eyes up in the live chat. CM is like Mark Mero isn't black.
Well,
Like,
now
if we don't learn anything else,
they're still learning now.
If we don't learn anything else on this episode, we've learned that Mark Mero not black.
Yeah. I should have renamed this episode to that. Mark Mero isn't black.
I remember this story he was telling of James Brown, Mark Mero, on one of the podcasts, and he said James Brown came up to him and said, "You're gonna be a great black world champion one day." And he said he was like, "I don't even know what to say back to that."
This is the stuff you learn.
Yeah. Like, if James Brown gives you a cosign, you just gotta accept it.
If James Brown gives you a pass, like that pass is good for life.
Yeah.
Well, we are gonna let you guys decide who you think won round one in the live chat poll is going on right now as we get to what we missed, and we got to talk about last night. WWE versus AEW, the Friday Night War, AEW Rampage. They had not only the 1 hour Rampage that started at 10 p.m. Eastern time, they had a full 1 hour buy-in before, which featured one of the best and stiffest matchups of the year, one of my favorites of the year, with Bryan Danielson defeating Minoru Suzuki in a tremendous hard-hitting encounter. My God, this is the picture of Suzuki laying Bryan Danielson the fuck out. I felt like Smokey should have jumped in the ring and said, "You got knocked the fuck out." Oh my goodness. Just a great match. Danielson getting the win with the running knee. You also had Bobby Fish defeat Lee Moriarty. Before that, Tay Conti defeat Santana Garrett. Lee Moriarty is officially all elite. That announcement was made on their social media following his very good matchup against Bobby Fish on the show. Put Lee Moriarty on AEW Dynamite and let him get over, ladies and gentlemen. That man is so talented. We've had him here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, and we are such big fans of him. The main show saw CM Punk defeat Matt Sydal in a great opener. You also had Ruby Soho defeat the Bunny after the match. Penelope Ford laying out Ruby Soho with a brass knuckle shot. And then in the main event, the Men of the Year and UFC Hall of Famer, former heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos beat the Inner Circle in a fun trios main event, with Scorpio Sky becoming only the second man in AEW to pin Chris Jericho twice. So we gotta give him credit for that. So what did you guys think about AEW Rampage? Let's start with Professor Kris. And what was your highlight of the night between the buy-in and the main show?
My highlight for night, honorable mention to Mark Henry for saying it's time for the main event. But I think it was definitely I love that CM Punk Matt Sydal match too. So I'm a little torn. I thought, and I like how Punk keeps switching up the tights to just little things like that. And I think there's a pattern with that, but I got to figure out what it is. I don't think he's just arbitrarily doing that.
Out here doing research.
Yeah, but I definitely think that that Matt Sydal, that was the best I've seen Matt Sydal look in years. He looks motivated out there. Hopefully he gets in with IBO Leo. Is that his name?
I think it's LBO or LBO Leo.
LBO Leo Rush. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what that brother does on the main roster.
Absolutely, brother Nate. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what the professor said, man, and it's funny, SP3, because I feel like people like ourselves and y'all and Rich Fan and the Grapsody cats, like we've been talking about some of this stuff for a minute in terms of the representation in AEW, and we're starting to get it slowly but surely. So like seeing Leo back, like I'm super hyped for that, man. Somebody whose name I'm sure you'll hear at some point in this draft. But to me, as much as I loved the Punk match, as much as I was like amped that we got Danielson and Suzuki on YouTube. I'm like, what world are we living in? This is amazing. But for me, just on a personal level, my highlight was seeing Lee Moriarty out there with Bobby Fish, because I was like, man, like when you follow somebody and you know like kind of the ups and downs of their journey, and they finally get to the point where it's like, yeah, like this brother is in the on deck circle, and I don't know if it's gonna take 6 months, like it might take a year. And this is what we talked about on the last episode of the NWA podcast. Like sometimes we got to be a little bit patient, because you just don't want them hot-shotting something for the sake of hot-shotting. Like, I want them to do right by Lee Moriarty. And so, like, even though he didn't win the match, like, I thought he had a good showing. And you can tell, man, they got plans for this brother. So that was my highlight of the evening in terms of AEW.
How about you, StatKing?
That Suzuki Bryan Danielson match was just incredible, simply incredible. I love that match. Obviously, I'm biased, as some of you guys know, when it comes to CM Punk appearances. So that was probably one of my highlights as well. But I think overall, what I loved about it was just their willingness to put these matches on basically like free. I mean, it is free for YouTube. And then some of these matches that we're seeing with Punk, it's just continuing to develop the audience, getting to know him again. So I just love the whole show, top to bottom.
And Ness?
Yeah, I gotta echo that. It was overall, the show was great. My highlight definitely had to be Bryan versus Suzuki in a hard-hitting match, just a dream match. Like a couple months ago we would have never thought this was going to happen whatsoever. And then like now with the whole Forbidden Door thing, Bryan just wanting to wrestle. It was great. But also, again, shout out to Lee Moriarty going out there showing that he can hang with someone like Bobby Fish and put on another great performance. Although there was a loss, his stock has shot up, and it's going to continue to shoot up even more. So I'm definitely ready to see more of Lee Moriarty on All Elite Wrestling. And yeah, they just an overall great free show, free YouTube, man. It was free.
I want to see Lee up against Sammy. That'll be a good one.
Yeah. I want to see Lee versus Bryan Danielson. That's one of my dream matches for Danielson in AEW for sure. We got a super chat donation from Vala B here. Thank you so much, saying that Danielson versus Suzuki match is what we would have had in the G1 this year if they could have been in it. 100% agree with you. And imagine how great the G1 is going to be when Bryan Danielson finally gets to be able to go over to Japan. My God, him versus Ibushi, him versus Okada, him versus Shingo, him versus, if you thought it was hard hitting against Suzuki, imagine Bryan Danielson versus Tomohiro Ishii. Oh my God.
I need that for Christmas next year. I'm writing Santa a letter.
And of course, guys, make sure you put in those super chat donations. It helps out the channel a lot, and we will definitely highlight your comment, your thought, your hot take for sure. But Friday Night Rampage wasn't the only show last night, as we had Supersized SmackDown Supersized on FS1 going head to head with the buy-in, as well as the first half hour of the main show of AEW Rampage. Brock Lesnar continued his mind games with Roman Reigns during the main event contract signing, just signing the contract without even looking at it. Roman Reigns responding and saying, "You dumb farmer, you don't even look at the contract before you sign it." And he was like, "Yes, I read it earlier this morning with my advocate Paul Heyman." And Roman Reigns just left on stuck, looking like an idiot there. You also had Sasha Banks defeat Becky Lynch in a brilliant contest, arguably right behind Danielson and Suzuki for the match of the night. Those ladies left nothing, held nothing back, and put on a pay-per-view quality matchup on free TV. The Usos defeated the Street Profits in a fun street fight to retain the SmackDown tag team titles. I will be honest, I was not paying attention to that because that was on at the same time as Danielson and Suzuki, but I rewatched it this morning. It was fun. Finn Balor beat Sami Zayn in a very good opener to advance to the King of the Ring tournament finals. Selena Vega beat Carmella thanks to a distraction from Liv Morgan to advance in the Queen's Crown tournament finals. Brother Nate, what do you think about this whole story going on between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns as we head into Crown Jewel this coming week?
I think it's a really good story. The show that they're building this for aside, because I won't be watching that show for personal reasons. But I think that like this is the best use of Brock in a long time. Like this isn't Brock squashing Kofi for no reason. This isn't Brock in a meaningless feud with who was he feuding with? Cain Velasquez? Yeah. Like a meaningless feud that nobody wanted to see. This is actually a smart use of Brock Lesnar, where we're playing the mind games, and we've got Paul Heyman in the middle, and Paul Heyman's been doing some of the best work of his career, which was already great, right?
Yeah.
But like his stuff with Roman has been so great because unlike the Heyman Lesnar relationship, like they're not buddies. Like he works for Roman, as opposed to with Lesnar, where he was his advocate, but they had a friendship. Like he ain't their friend. Like he works for the tribal chief, and so I love the dynamic. I'm excited for the match, even though, like I said, I won't be watching it, so I'll have to hear secondhand how good the match was. But if you're going to use Brock Lesnar for these part-time gigs, this is a great spot to put him in. Roman's the hottest thing in your company right now, and him and Brock can do big business. So I think they've done a great job telling the story so far.
Yes. I respect your decision not to watch Crown Jewel. This guy right here, Romeo, who just popped on screen, is making me watch it, and I am doing it under protest, ladies and gentlemen, under protest. Romeo, you have a comment?
Guys, we got 15 people watching, but we only have 8 votes. I promise. Even if you're not black, you can vote in the poll. break the tie because it's 50-50 right now, 50% for both of you.
Yes, come on, ladies and gentlemen, you can vote in the in-chat poll. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, jump on over to YouTube, help us out. Remember to drop a thumbs up on this video. You could share it with your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. A couple of comments I gotta read here. This one made me laugh from Vala B. SP3 draft Hook. Hook is racially ambiguous. I just want to let that be known.
So was his daddy.
His dad is exactly. He comes from high quality stock of another gentleman who I thought was black for a few years there. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there, ladies and gentlemen. We also got Nick Jackson saying, dude, when Bryan finally get to do the G1, hopefully next year, it's a wrap. I totally agree with you. There we got another name change for Sammy Joe saying no Coke, Pepsi, Sammy Joe. I hope 2 Fly Crew gets drafted. I respect it.
About that one.
I respect it though. I respect it. We got to move on to what else we missed this week. GCW Fight Club, one of the biggest events in Game Changer Wrestling history, with Jon Moxley defeating Nick Gage in a bloody death match to retain the GCW World Championship. I love that. Chelsea Green debuted to assist Matt Cardona in his regaining of the Internet Championship over Effie. Thunder Rosa also made her debut in a 7-way scramble, which was run by Jimmy Lloyd. AJ Gray and the GCW Tag Team Champions Mance Warner and Matthew Justice of Second Gear Crew defeated Akira, G Raver, and Alex Colon in a 6-man tag team match. After the match was the bigger story, though, as Warner and Justice called out any tag team to face them for the titles, and another racially ambiguous tag team, the Briscoes, made their GCW debut to accept the challenge. And then in the biggest announcement in GCW history, promoter Brett Lauderdale announced the company will be holding their first event at the Hammerstein Ballroom on January 23rd. StatKing, I know you and Romeo watched the MOXvsGAGE matchup on our Patreon. Tell us what you thought about that matchup, and what do you think about GCW overall?
Oh man, that's a match where the blood just flows very, very, very easily, even before the bell rings. That's actually how the bell is rung. But that match was incredibly violent, and as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of deathmatch wrestling, it was pretty eye-opening. I mean, people learned a lot from that dark side of the ring about Nick Gage. And if that was something that helped bring more people to watching GCW and watching deathmatch style wrestling, seeing that match, just, I don't know, maybe you turned it back off, or maybe they won you over as a fan for life. But it was a really, really good match, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with running the Hammerstein. That's a big, big move for a company of that size, making that leap. And I think that kind of gives us an idea as to why Jon Moxley retained over Nick Gage. I can definitely see them 3 or 4 months from now doing the repeat match, the return match at the Hammerstein, and giving Nick Gage that moment where he wins it back. So great show.
And for you over in Cali, Chris, the GCW has been going over there more often. Their next big event is next weekend, as they're going to have Minoru Suzuki one-on-one with Nick Gage. The aforementioned Briscoes are going to get their shot at the GCW Tag Team Championships of Mance Warner and Matthew Justice of SGC. What do you think about GCW and them crossing over to all the major states in North America right now?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I didn't get to see the pay-per-view, but I've been seeing all the internet rage about the Moxley Gage match, and I think it's cool that the AEW wrestlers seem to be actual independent contractors in the true sense of the word. I'm sure that they can't just go to WWE or anything like that, but they seem to be allowed to do a little bit more in that regard. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to see what they bring to the West Coast. I might try to go to that show, but there's a few different shows I'm trying to go to as well. So.
Don't spread yourself too thin, brother. Don't spread yourself too thin. And
right.
Make sure you don't wear shorts, because you might get scraped with one of those light tubes. Just saying. The GCW is dangerous for the fans as well. Also, what we missed this week was WWE Raw, which drew one of its lowest ratings of all time, 1.582 million viewers. SmackDown. Fair enough. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, beat the WWE Champion Big E and Drew McIntyre by countout because the babyfaces couldn't coexist. In the other tag team matchup on the night, SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Bel-Air and Sasha Banks, that went to a no contest because no one could coexist. That face probably describes it the best. Xavier Woods and Jinder Mahal moved on in the King of the Ring tournament over Ricochet and Kofi Kingston, respectively, because we can't get Xavier and Kofi. We don't deserve good things. And Shayna Baszler and Doudrop moved on in the Queen's Crown tournament over Dana Brooke and Natalya, respectively. Ness, you talked about it on Blunt Impact this week. Women's wrestling overall. What have you been thinking about this whole Queen's Crown tournament and the lack of attention overall WWE has gave to it?
I'll say this. I was at last week's Dynamite in Philadelphia. Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida was longer than the whole first round of WWE's Queen's Crown tournament. That alone, that one match being longer than a whole first round, and it's terrible. I'm a huge advocate for women's wrestling. You guys know I review Impact. Their Knockouts division, they just had the Knockdown tournament. A phenomenal show just based around women's wrestling. You can do it. It can be done. They have the talent to do it. They just don't know or just don't care to book them properly and give them the respect out there. And, it's hilarious that years ago, the whole give women the chance. Oh, we will. It's the women's revolution. Oh, we'll give them a whole pay-per-view. And then where's that gone since then? They're going back to having 2-3 minute matches weekly, if they even have a match on the show. So I think it's atrocious. I really hate it because there is some talented individuals as far as the women's division. They just don't care about it at the end of the day. So the fact that they're even trying to have a tournament and make us believe that they care, they don't. They don't care. They don't care about women's wrestling outside of Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. And again, there's no slight to those women because it's not their fault. It's the booking that makes them makes us not care about it.
Absolutely agree 100% with what you're saying. Gotta highlight this comment in the live chat here. Alan Weinstein saying, I am in Portland, Oregon. We need some live wrestling here. AEW, GCW, even WWE been before, but it's been a long time. We got Moto Center. Reason I highlight your comment, Alan Weinstein, I've been seeing you, brother, in the comments for Wrestling Daily, trying to get us back to 1 hour shows. I respect the hustle. I respect your love for the show, and if you want an hour or more than an hour of SP3, you've come to the right place. Tru Heel Heat is the place to be. And a simple comment from him: because Raw sucks. I don't even know the context of this, but it just seemed right to highlight. To something else that might get Professor Kris angry by his Twitter account. NXT 2.0 this week did 632,000 viewers. Isaiah Swerve Scott defeated Santos Escobar to retain the North American title, but Carmelo Hayes then cashed in his breakout tournament contract to beat Swerve to become the new North American champion. Tommaso Ciampa beat Joe Gacy and was attacked by Harlan after the match. We saw setup for Raquel Gonzalez versus Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title in a spin the wheel make a deal match at Halloween Havoc, and Io Shirai and Zoe Starks versus Toxic Attraction versus Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada in a three-way for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Professor Kris, let the people know. Vent. This is your time to rant, and we love a good rant here on Tru Heel Heat. Let them know how you feel about NXT 2.0.
That show is fucking garbage, man. I think my biggest problem with NXT 2.0 is people have to construct ways to make it sound like it's a good show. The show is not good. I think my biggest problem with NXT 2.0 is if it came on local cable access television or just local television period, or even if it was still an internet-based show and it was that horrible, I could excuse it a little bit more, because this is where guys come to grit their teeth and learn the ropes and stuff, but they're on USA and it's a garbage fucking show. And I think it's really that simple. I think they've got highlights and good things, good little pieces there, but it's a garbage fucking show. And I wish I wish people would stop trying to be trying to find ways to Braun Breaker's is nothing right now, and he's nothing because he's on a garbage fucking show. That's it.
Moderna Kris, ladies and gentlemen, y'all ain't ready.
I respect it because that came from the heart.
USA could just air reruns of Chrisley Knows Best, because that outdraws NXT. I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he looked up.
Todd Chrisley's a star. They built that man up. You got the nice undercard with Savannah and Chase and Granny. Granny is a breakout star, man. Chrisley know what he's doing.
New episodes are pulling in 2.2 million a week, so they could arguably just get rid of Raw and just do Chrisley Knows Best, and then a rerun of Chrisley Knows Best for the second and third hour of Raw, and then on Tuesdays they could just do it again, and they'd probably still get 600,000. So I mean, why even bother?
Mm-hmm. I love the passion and the hatred for NXT 2.0 on this show. It makes me smile. And
Ness hasn't even said anything. He reviews it.
I was going to say, we review it. Myself, Chris G, our producer Romeo. You sound just like us when we review it, and because from where NXT was before to what it is now, no, it's not it at all.
And you said before, like it was a long time ago. It was 2 months ago.
3 months ago.
2 months ago.
It feels like it was.
That's how it feels.
They totally hit the Men in Black, but on us and just you forgot.
Yeah.
God, whoa.
And I feel so bad for that Harlan dude. He looks too much like Brock Lesnar. So you want to shave his head? Like, I mean, they lack originality in WWE as a whole. But with that kid, you know, I just feel bad for him because I can see, I can see a lot of those dudes scrubbing around the main roster, doing the little duck hunt for the
24/7 title
for the 24/7 belt. Yeah, it's sad, man.
All I learned from that is that WWE really wanted to shave somebody's head, and Adam Cole said no. So they were like, "Hey, Parker, you're up next."
Yeah.
Yep, you look too much like Brock Lesnar. We're gonna shave your head. But to a company that does do well with booking their women, like Ness aforementioned, we also miss Impact Knockouts Knockdown. They had a really good Impact Plus special with Decay defeating the Influence to retain the Impact Knockouts tag team titles in the main event. And then it was announced that Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay of the Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, will debut at Bound for Glory to face the champs for the titles. Mercedes Martinez defeated Tasha Steelz in the finals of the Knockdown tournament to earn a Knockouts championship match. Deonna Purrazzo beat Masha Slamovich, one of our favorites here on Tru Heel Heat, and Gail Kim after the match gave Masha an Impact Wrestling contract following the match. What do you been thinking about the Knockouts division and the talent they've been accumulating as of late, Nate?
I've been saying this for a long time, man. Anybody that has listened to me talk about Impact Wrestling through all the ups and downs, the one thing that has been a constant for the most part has been the way that they've presented their women. So this isn't a new thing for Impact. Like it's been going down for a minute. Starting all the way back with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. Like they've shown a way to present their women in a way that is more respectful in a lot of ways than what the WWE or some other companies do. And so, like, the Knockouts Knockdown is great that they brought that back. I love the fact that Impact never rebuilds with the Knockouts division. They like the San Antonio Spurs. You know, they reload. Like, we done lost Tim Duncan. We done lost David Robinson, whatever. You know, we going to draft some young kids. We might have a down season or two, but eventually we going to be back there. You know, we never go into full rebuild mode, and that's with the Knockouts. Like, they were super hot, like, 2 years ago with a certain woman whose comments just make you want to say, wow. They were super hot with that particular individual. Y'all see what I'm saying? They were super hot with that particular individual. And then, you know, she took her ball and went home, or they sent her home, and you're like, what's next? What are they going to do? Bam, we're going to bring Deonna Purrazzo into this mix and take it to a whole nother level. And so, like, I love the way they've got, like, a good balance of young talent, and then somebody like a Mercedes Martinez, man, who I've been a fan of for years, man, to bring her in, to bring, the Inspiration in. Like, I think they're a perfect addition to this roster because they may not be in-ring wise at a level of some of the other girls, but in terms of personality and theatrics, they take it up a notch. And I can't wait to see how they're utilized in this space with Impact Wrestling. So yeah, they've been doing good things by their women for a long time. And it's good to see like them keep the ball rolling. And WWE can learn a lot from them because it's not a lack of talent in WWE, Chris. It's how do we use these talented women in more than just 2-minute matches?
Right. Yeah. Like, did you guys see that interview that I think it was Billie Kay that she did with CVV? Y'all's boy. She she was crying about how she got fired and stuff. I liked seeing that side of that, you know, when people, you know, get fired from that, because a lot of times people kind of want to brush it off and pretend like it's nothing. But that woman clearly had her livelihood stripped of her, and I felt bad for her. And I think going to a place like Impact and being able, like Nate was saying, and like Ness was saying earlier, get longer matches and I mean, because a big part of fostering a culture of good wrestling is feeling like you're being supported on that journey, man. How can you be a good wrestler if you're out there, if you're not allowed some rope to maybe fail? Because maybe not every match you do is going to be a good match, but you should at least be able to go out there and try. And if it's a bad match, get critiqued later and figure out where the pieces are supposed to go.
Yep, you gotta have the opportunity to fail or succeed, and a lot of times, in WWE you don't get that opportunity, but Impact is given that opportunity, and that's why we've seen young ladies like Masha Slamovich, Savannah Evans get picked up as of late and get that opportunity. A couple comments I gotta highlight here. Look at some love for Ness's journey on Tuesdays. Alan Weinstein saying the Tru Heel Heat review is the best thing to do with NXT 2.0, and then our very own top guy JJ, the person who picked Britt Baker #1 in our last fantasy wrestling draft. I gotta remind y'all. Says, "What's up, guys? Great show so far. Thank you so much. Needed a small break due to the Titans losing to the Jets. A full 3-hour watch along NXT 2.0. WWE truly made me lose my smile for a week." So yes, he lost his smile. He relinquished the WWF Championship, but that means he will be back in 2 months, meaning next week, right here on Tru Heel Heat. And then finally, the last thing we got to highlight real quick from the week, Impact on Access TV. You can see Ness and Chris G's full review on Blunt Impact. El Phantasmo defeated Willie Mack and Rohit Raju to advance in the X Division Championship 3-way tournament at Bound for Glory. W. Morrissey won a Battle Royal to earn the 20th entrance spot in another Battle Royal, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory. That didn't make any sense to me. But in the biggest news, it was announced that Minoru Suzuki will be debuting in Impact Wrestling coming soon, and it was announced on their social media. He'll be at the TV tapings following Bound for Glory. So the Minoru Suzuki United States tour continues and comes to Impact Wrestling. But Minoru Suzuki is not someone we will pick today in our fantasy wrestling draft, as it is only African American wrestlers, and we are back at it with round 2. Ooh. If the producer can kindly show us who won the in-chat poll for our round 1, who the fans think won round 1, Romeo.
60% in favor of Tru Heel Heat, 40% in favor of
NWA. We was robbed.
All right, it's close. It's close, ladies and gentlemen. It is close. Thank you for that update, Romeo. Brother Nate, Professor Kris, you gotta pick it up in round 2, because round 2
we don't accept the results of this election. The machines were rigged.
Stop the count.
Stop the count. Started back up again.
So this is we do snake draft style here on Tru Heel Heat. So we have the first pick for round 2 here. So Ness, what are you thinking to start off round 2 here?
Oh man, since we were just talking about GCW, I want to stay in the land of the extreme. Since we're going to talk about Black excellence and Black history, who more extreme than New Jack? It might be a little off end, but hey, that's where I want to go with SP3. How about you? What are you thinking right now?
I love me some Uncle Jerome, brother New Jack. I mean, I was thinking of a few other people. I think that we can get Uncle Jerome a little bit later. I was either thinking we go with the women, but my pick, because he's a sleeper pick, because people won't think about him because of how his current company treats him. Ooh. But Ricochet is a round 1 type of guy who has crept through to the second round.
You got huge upside, as Mel Kiper Jr. would say.
Exactly. We're talking about a guy with upside who, with the right booking from Tru Heel Heat, can get straight to the top and be one of our top stars. I think Ricochet is that.
I mean, yeah, he definitely was the top star in Lucha Underground when it was a thing. Who was more over than Prince Puma at the time? So I could definitely go with that. I definitely agree with that.
All right, so we are going with Ricochet to start off round 2.
That's nice.
Yeah. Superheroes exist in real life. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
superheroes are real.
Here's the thing, Chris. Like I feel like we got to step our game up, and this ain't just a fantasy draft here, Chris. This is a business, and in business, sometimes you got to hurt people, brother. And so the question is though, there's 4 people in this business, and we can only take 2 of them as a unit. I'm thinking we go with Uncle P and Bobby Lashley.
Ooh.
Is that you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, we're going with MVP, Bobby Lashley, Hurt Business. That's our first pick of this round.
Gotta hand it to you because Bobby Lashley was high on my draft board as well. That was another person I was thinking of. If Ness just felt like the WWE had ruined Ricochet, that was my next one I was gonna go to. So I respect it, but we still got Uncle Jerome out there. But I think we can wait. We can wait.
Oh yeah, we can wait. We can
wait.
I was getting a little exuberant. We're talking about extreme wrestling. I was like, oh, let me just stay in that time period. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. I feel you. But we could go with a tag team, but I think we need to get these prime players who have been underutilized by their promotion that we can get to a certain level.
Titus O'Neil.
And we get the new Bearcat, Keith Lee.
Ooh.
Wow, I like that.
Well, the promotion because it's all WWE. In NXT, back when it was good, he was the man, double champ, the NXT champion and North American champion at the same time. So and then just his run up until he got to the main roster. So, yes, Bearcat Lee, we still respect you, we still love you.
Can I bang on this name for a second?
Go ahead. We're gonna give you another spotlight, Chris.
Talk to him.
Okay, my problem with the WWE and their names and stupidities with this gimmick and shit, I understand it. Bearcat Wright, his dad Ed Bearcat, whatever. Fine. His history, I get it. WWE's trying to prove that they're culturally, but these names they always have to trademark. They don't mean shit, man. Like I remember back in the day where you gave a guy a name and a gimmick, and if that guy went to another company, that name and that gimmick, that guy felt like a piece of his soul left with him when he had to lose that name. Like Earthquake, for example. Earthquake was a guy, when he lost the name Earthquake, he went through, he turned into a goddamn shark. It took him, he was an avalanche. It took him a few gimmicks before he realized he was a man. John Tenta, Big Boss Man, the same thing. He went to WCW and floundered through all these different gimmicks. Johnny B. Bad, when he lost the name Johnny B. Bad, he was never the same. These names that they give these people, all they're going to do is use whatever name they used on the indies before and get more over with that name. So I really, this Bearcat shit, it doesn't seem like any thought went into it at all. It seems like Vince McMahon opened an encyclopedia and was like, okay, this guy used to be, and he's big. It's dumb, man. I think Roman Reigns is a guy where if you take his name away, it will matter, Yeah. Nobody else on that roster is like that at the moment. All those names are stupid. All those gimmicks are dumb. They will leave. They will be better gimmicks. And that's just the end of the story.
It could be worse. They could have just named him Lee instead. There's a habit of Lee.
I would rather that, man.
Or worse, he could have lost the Lee and just been Keith.
Just Keith. Just come out to some Keith Sweat.
I love it. Romeo, you have a comment for us?
I'm bugging here. I accidentally deleted the Lashley picture earlier because I thought he was drafted already. So you guys are trying to tell me Lashley slid to round 2. You guys drafted Mark Henry, D'Lo Brown, Doom before Bobby Lashley.
Mark Henry, former world champion.
And Bobby Lashley wasn't picked on his own. He was picked with Uncle P. Which is smart. Which is smart in my opinion. It's pretty smart.
The MVP underrated as hell, man.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. Pretty smart there. All right, so NWA, it's on you. Your second pick of round 2 here.
All right, so Chris, I'm gonna take the lead on this one again because I feel like we didn't crack the code. Like, you know, they took the lead in round 1. I feel like this is where we getting our comeback. Like James Brown told John to be bad. It's the big payback. So we gonna go with another tandem. Because you should have never opened this Pandora's box open, SP3. Because now it's like we playing Uno. You just showed me how to use the draw 4, and I'm finna draw 4 y'all to death. So we go into AEW. Like y'all talked earlier about how Harlem had an influence in the wrestling world. There's another town in New York that has some influence too. A little place called Red Hook. And Red Hook, one of Red Hook's favorite sons, is a man of racial ambiguity named Taz. And Taz came to AEW. We didn't know if he was black or Puerto Rican, Italian, or what. But Taz came to AEW and put together a team. You know where I'm going with this, Chris. He put together a team of individuals. And 2 of those individuals happened to be black. And they a tag team. We going with Powerhouse Hobbs and the absolute Ricky Starks.
Team Taz, that is a great pick. Gotta hand it to you there. That was smart thinking there. Powerhouse Hobbs is definitely high on my list for round 2. Ricky Starks, that man has upward potential to be an absolute main eventer, in my opinion. Both guys, honestly, are going to be main eventers. Just wait till we
book Ricky Starks versus The Rock. Come on, that's a main event.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, you killed him. So they using, you know, the card on us on Ness. They going heavy with the tag team. So I got our next 2 picks planned out very well in my head. You already put out there Uncle Romy Rome. Mm-hmm. So we could go with his tag team, or you know, go with the Gangsters, or we go with Crime Time.
Ooh. For nostalgia, I would say Crime Time, because that's you can't go wrong with that. That's a memorable team. So many great moments from those guys. Rest in peace, Shad. Definitely, I'm definitely feeling that. I'm feeling Crime Time. I like that.
So our next pick is Crime Time for sure. Respect. We got to highlight a few comments that we got over here. Alan Weinstein saying, as a fellow big man who can't move like a cruiserweight, I have even more respect for Keith Lee. Y'all can see it and be like, that's nice, but other fat guys see it and it's like, damn, that dude can work. We also got a super chat donation from our very own top guy JJ, throwing some shade at me, saying SP3 got some nerve talking about my GOAT Baker pick at number 1. It was number 1 overall, like Jesus. And we still ended up with Kenny Omega. Let's understand why the hell we took Cena at number 3. We took Cena because we got to sell some tickets. God damn it! We picked Britt Baker with our number 1 overall pick. We got to sell some tickets after that. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh man, but yes. No, big. I like both picks overall so far. Let's go to number 3 for and by the way, producer, Crime Time is spelled with a Y. We are incorrect on here on these 3. Thank you.
I got it right on the ticker. I'm in charge of the ticker and I got it right on the
ticker. Brother Nate, Professor Kris, your 3rd overall for round 2.
All right, Professor, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this. What you thinking, brother?
I was thinking going with Awesome Kong.
Ooh, I like Awesome Kong a lot, Chris, but we talked about somebody earlier that we might want to steal first, because I feel like if we don't take her now, she might be off the board by the next time we get to pick. Chris, you know where I'm going?
Jade.
I think we both love Awesome Kong, but I think
they might steal it. I don't know how these dudes in the chat are voting, man. I think we're playing a road game.
Right. We love Jade, but we don't know if the Tru Heel Heat Nation love Jade.
Yeah, and a lot of these motherfuckers seem like they got a ton of like recency bias and shit. The way they just shout out our first round.
Just going at the chat.
I think shout out to the chat. I think I'm cool with either one. We could go with I'll let you take the wheel on
Let's go with Jade. And look, if I'm wrong, Chris, that's on me. Because I'm thinking also about who else we got. Jade, Bianca. That's a main event match. So we going with Miss Jade Cargill, y'all.
Jade Cargill, the 3rd overall pick of round 2. Ness, we got to pick Awesome Kong. I was so bad when he said that. I was so bad when he said that because that was my next pick right there.
I'm right. No deliberation out of me. Awesome Kong.
Yep. Either way, you can't go wrong.
Hey, they got Bianca and Jade. We got Sasha Banks and Awesome Kong.
That's a hell of a match.
We got Awesome Kong versus the Black Gail Kim. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think that worked out for both sides though. That was like the Mavs getting Luka and the Hawks getting Trae Young. Like we both
exactly. Respect on both accounts. Your 4th pick overall for round 2, NWA.
2 more picks left in this round. So for our 4th pick, I've been thinking a lot, Chris, about this here draft, man. And we got a lot of great in-ring talent. We got a lot of great performers. But I do feel like, hearing them talk about John singing in that draft and selling tickets, we do need to tickets. We do need to get a little bit more flamboyance on the show. And I'm thinking, Chris, there's a man out there that used to come on TV, and he told the people, you got to grab them cakes, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Think it's time to go to the dog pound?
Yeah.
We're going to select WWF Hall of Famer, JYD, the Junkyard Dog.
Going after the old school fans. Going after the old school fans here.
We've seen WWE's demographics. We know we got to get that 50+ crowd, man.
Got to do it. Got to do it. I respect it. I respect it a lot. So, Ness, let's hear what you thinking, brother.
What do you think? You think we should go singles or should we go tag team?
I mean, tag teams might give us the knockout punch for this round right here. If we got another good tag team that we can go to, or if we could get another woman on the board and really solidify our women's division. I want to hear what you think, though. Let's hear it.
Well, I was actually gonna say a singles person, but
okay.
I'm trying to think of another tag team off the top of my head. Who do you have in mind, or which way you want to go with this, good brother?
Well, women's wise, I was thinking Ember Moon, Naomi. I feel like that Mia Yim's out there for us to capitalize on. But we did mention together. We did mention earlier somebody who just recently got an acquisition. And if we want to go with tag teams, he brought it up earlier. Thank you, Professor Kris, because I'm gonna take that alley and I'm gonna dunk it and score these 2 points. Lio Rush and Dante Martin.
Yep. That's a hell of a pick.
Yeah.
That's where you go.
Yeah, let's do it. Definitely.
We're not even going with top flight. Sorry, Darius. You injured, Darius. We going with Lio Rush and Dante Martin.
Hell of a pick. Because Chris, Leo's on my short list of where we should go next, but I feel like this is where you. I feel like this is where you got that strategy comes into play, man. So they ended on the tag team like they think they got the knockout punch. Like right now there you go. That's that man of the hour. Like they think they got the knockout punch. They Deontay Wilder. They hit us. We Tyson Fury. We gonna get back up and knock them back down. Because our final pick, Chris, I'm gonna go with a tag team here. Let's go to Impact Wrestling. Former Impact World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Put them on the board.
Ooh,
damn it!
I was giving you the alley. I thought you would say your boys. Ness.
I didn't think they were pick them that high up. I was going to pick them next, like right now.
That's falling asleep. That's falling asleep.
I dropped the ball on that one.
Falling asleep at the wheel or on camera as he usually does. Damn it.
We got him in this round, Chris.
This was a closer round. StatKing, you want to give us your thoughts on this round? We even hear the ESPN bubble after that draft pick.
That was my tablet.
Mel Kiper Jr. Like, breaking news in a surprising move. The NWA Podcast selects Willie Mack and Rich Swann. What an outstanding combination!
What a pick! What a pick to end round 2 there. StatKing, what did you think about round 2 here?
This one was definitely closer. Definitely closer. I'm giving this one to the NWA Podcast because they've got that world heavyweight champion in Bobby Lashley multiple time in Impact as well. They got MVP, the inaugural IWGP Intercontinental Champion. They've got the youth movement with Hobbs and Starks. And you guys did. I was like, oh man, are they gonna go youth? And then you did get Leo and Dante, but then Junkyard Dog, Rich Swann, Willie Mack. That's NWA Podcast all the way.
I respect it. Let's hear. We gotta put the in chat poll. You guys can decide who you thought won round 2 there. We can highlight a few comments here. Top Guy JJ still trying to make up for his nonsense. You lost us the draft with that silly ass pick. No one mentions me picking John Cena. Everyone mentions you picking Britt Baker. You lost the draft. Please, stop it. Just stop it. Take the L, sign for the L, and then move on. Take your package and leave. Jesus. He says passing up on the Young. You passed up on the Young Bucks by not picking them number 1. You picked Britt Baker. God damn it. Will you stop your nonsense? And look at him. He's already turning on us. He's like, The Rock is an automatic W fact. See, he wants us to lose just to
we appreciate that.
Just to make up for his big L there.
The Rock and DMD, man, they one and the same. You gotta pick the goats when the goats is on the board.
We got Frantic World saying Jay Cargill is a good pick here. We also got Alan Weinstein saying Jade's a reach for round 3. We got mixed reactions here. We got
a little controversial.
Nick Jackson saying Jade's a great pick though. Beat Boop saying Jade greater than anyone on NXT 2.0. She's a star.
Yes.
A storm is coming.
We got Alan Weinstein saying JYD, nice pick. We also got Alan Weinstein putting out ideas. Miss Jacqueline. See, people like, yeah, you know, you're giving away. Don't give away picks, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to do anything like that. We got Nick Jackson saying, "Damn, poor Darius Martin." Yes.
I want to add because I got to meet them at Warrior Wrestling, and when the time came for the photo op portion of the meet, Darius did ask. He was like, "Do you want the photo with both of us or just Dante?" I was like, "Both of you." It's like I'm not like.
He's like, "I'll take this pity photo with you, Darius." Sammy Bearcat Joe saying Stone Cold Willie Mack, and then Nick Jackson saying, "Damn, Nessie, they caught you slacking."
Yeah, man. I really didn't think that. I was expecting. I'm like, "Yo, they're gonna be good, man." Willie Mack and Rich Swann, yeah, we got them.
Can't go all night long.
That no more. Yeah, I ain't doing that no more.
Yo, it's all reaction, man. When y'all took Leo, we had to go to the next plan.
You did. That was a smart move. Top Guy JJ with another super chat donation saying, I'm going to shred you next week. Save some time on the agenda for this. This is far from over.
That's called a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. a part of his introduction is the man who can't sign for the L, Top Guy JJ. That's going to be a part. He Uptown Avondale saying The Rock did play the Tooth Fairy, so very similar to Britt Baker. Yes.
Yep. It all goes together. Tooth Fairy 2 starring Rock and Britt Baker.
Correlation, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we call a long-term payoff, ladies and gents. We keep those comments coming, keep those super chat donations coming. Let us know what you thought about round 2 as we go through our news rundown. A lot of news popping off during the week, ladies and gentlemen. WWE news. It was reported earlier this year that The Rock is rumored to make his return at WWE Survivor Series next month, as well as Raw and SmackDown that same week. But apparently the same person who gave us that news is now saying that's no longer to be the case. Andrew Zarian of the NWA Podcast, who initially broke the story, stated that The Rock is now scheduled to be in Australia to film season 2 of Young Rock at the time of the pay-per-view. Not only that, it is now seeming likely that Rock versus Roman Reigns will be pushed to WrestleMania 39 in 2023 in Los Angeles. There are people in the company who are adamant that the match will be happening in Los Angeles, not Dallas, in 2022. As for The Rock's 25th anniversary, it's believed WWE will still acknowledge that in some fashion with a mention or video package. Brother Nate, you got to speak for your number 1 draft pick overall. What do you think about The Rock not being at Survivor Series for the 25th anniversary and instead versus Roman Reigns in 2023 at WrestleMania?
It's the right move. Like I've always said, man, if you're gonna put that match on, which is arguably the biggest match you have available, you want to put it on the biggest stage. And this is no shade to Dallas, no shade to that man, Jared Jones and them out there, but you want that match to happen in LA in your return, in the WrestleMania that's been delayed for 3 years because of COVID. You want that to be like, we're back, and there's no bigger star to have on that platform than Dwayne Johnson, and him and Roman, they're going to tear it up. So, obviously, we would have loved to have seen him at Survivor Series, but I don't think this is bad news. I think this is just, we're going to prolong the story, and, it gives them time to do different things with Roman up until then. So, I'd say it's a win, man, because that's the thing. You take Dwayne when you can get Dwayne. Believe me, Vince ain't going to be like, oh, no, you couldn't make Survivor Series, so we're not going to use you, pal. Vince should be happy and grateful that Dwayne The Rock Johnson gives him the time of day to show up for his program. This man got movies and TV shows to do. He got charities that he got to do. He out here selling tequila that top guy JJ is probably sipping on right now. That Terramana. Okay? Dwayne Johnson is bigger than the WWE. He's bigger than pro wrestling. That's why he was our number 1 pick. So let The Rock do what The Rock do, and we'll see him in 2023, man.
I respect it. I definitely understand it. But this hasn't stopped Roman Reigns from talking a lot this week. In an interview with the Complex, Roman spoke about the WWE's rivalry with AEW and whether he personally views the company as competition. On if he views AEW as competition, this is a long quote, but I got to get it all in. No, I mean, he said, as I quote, no, I mean, not for me personally. This is one of those subjects that's very subjective, and there's a lot of passion and tribalism. Look at our name here, and that really sways and creates an unbiased opinion. But I can only speak from my perspective. I'm one of those guys who will compete at anything. I bet you I can eat that cookie faster. I want to be the best at anything that I choose to do. We pull up on lawnmowers and we cut the yard in half. I'm going to beat you. My side will look better than yours. So to me, I don't see the real competition with AEW because I think their fan base legitimately is a hardcore fan base. So there's a ceiling and a built-in ground that to that viewership. The WWE is trying to connect with everyone. We're trying to connect with the mainstream. We're trying to connect with the casual fan. We're trying to engage the new viewer while also serving our hardcore fan base and give them compelling stories to fulfill them as well. I don't know if I've said it before, but I've said it before. When the audience is probably the biggest character to your show, that's strange to me. You'll hear it all the time. The reviews and the comparisons. I think because they are the new kids on the block, they're the cool kids in town. I guess because of how premature and novel it still is. I think they're still being babied by these hardcore wrestling fans, which is nice. That's great. I don't think anyone's going to ever, especially from a performance standpoint, say, oh no, there's more opportunities out there. That sucks. So it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for professional wrestling. It's just a weird argument because there's so much bias and there's so much I'm on this side and I'm not gonna open my mind to the other side, and it goes both ways. As far as competition, not to me. There might be some other people on our roster who maybe think they need to dig deep and get better as a performer and what they do out there at the art form, but there's nobody in the whole world, any other promotion in WWE, I'm better at this art form than everybody else, and I stand on that. That's the totality of it. I'm not just talking about, oh, his spots are so good, he counters real well. That stuff don't mean anything to me. When you tally it all up, nobody touches me in this business. Chris, what do you think about Roman Reigns with the Salt Bay on AEW?
This N-word. I love Roman Reigns. I do get tired of hearing like this bias argument. The reason why people are biased towards AEW over NXT or WWE is AEW is better at the moment. There's nothing wrong with saying that. AEW is a better show. WWE is good in spurts. It's not the greatest. I don't mind Roman Reigns talking his shit and caping and all that. That's what you got to do. If anybody in that company should be grateful for their spot, it's Roman Reigns. But I do like how he also said in that whole quote, he mentions that that how great of an athlete he's in when he's talking about CM Punk and how he would be Division I football player if he didn't get injured and stuff. So he's just basically admitting that WWE was a fallback plan because that football shit didn't work out for him. I respect it, man. Like, talk your shit. You got to do your caping. I think he's the new company guy. Like, it was Rollins that was saying all this, like, just I think a lot of times with these wrestlers and these WWE diehards, because there's no such thing as a hardcore in WWE, right? I think a lot of time with these guys, it's them trying to convince themselves that shit is good instead of like really actually thinking it's good. Like, yeah, it's like, again, Roman's shit has been okay, so I'm not necessarily talking about him, but like, you can't be a WWE wrestler and read some of those scripts or whatever the fuck you got to do out there and actually think that what you're doing is better than what they're doing in AEW. If I got a psychologist I could give you the number to. I talk to her on a weekly basis, and she might be able to help you to sort through your feelings. But AEW is just better at it's really that simple. It's not. It's not being tribal. If WWE does a good show, then hey, WWE is better. If AEW consistently does better shows, they're fucking better. It's really that simple.
Suffering succotash. Indeed. On CM Punk, Roman Reigns said in the same interview, and if he ever wants a match with him, he said, and I quote, So I answered a question similar to this a while ago, and it falls back to our audience wants to see. If our audience wanted to see it and they were clamoring for it, couldn't shut up about it, and all the stars aligned, as a businessman, as a performer who is trying to seek out the very best for the audience and try to captivate, I wouldn't say no. But I mean, on a personal level, it doesn't do anything for me. That's not going to elevate me at all. He's older now. I haven't really seen a full match. I've seen a clip or two, and to me, a step or two has been lost. Then also, he got his ass whooped in the UFC. I don't think anybody really believes someone 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me. I'm 6'3", 265 pounds, a legitimate athlete who can throw some weight around and has been on the gridiron at the highest level, D1, all ACC. I probably would have maintained in the NFL if my health issues didn't happen when I was 22 years old. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I'll throw him and pretty much the rest of that roster out of the club, no problem. They're just little brothers, you know. StatKing, as the number one CM Punk fan on this panel, what's your thoughts on Roman's comments toward Punk?
I think it's funny that he thinks that he'd be able to beat Punk, who's 200 pounds soaking wet, when Punk beat Roman, Dean, and Seth all at the same time.
Because it's also wrestling, folks. It's wrestling. You don't need any of that.
But also the what Chris was saying earlier about this D1 athlete nonsense. No, you were not at the top of your game. First off, if you were at the top of your game, you wouldn't have gone undrafted in 2007. If you were at the top of your game, you wouldn't have been had to be signed to the Vikings practice squad. And yes, of course, absolutely, you got diagnosed with leukemia. They did cut you because of that. You failed the physical. But then, in a weird twist of fate, now this is before they owned the team, you ended up on the Jacksonville Jaguars practice squad. You got cut from them. Then you went to the CFL and you started in 5 games before they cut you too. So telling me that you were you would have maintained this amazing level of sports ability, just be grateful that they took that. Just be grateful that from sports you were able to add the word entertainment to it. And just carry on with your day. Because the rest of what you said about WWE and the hardcore fans makes even less sense. You're talking about trying to attract casual fans. The ratings for both of your shows are going down. The ratings for NXT are going down. If you look at the ratings of SmackDown right before and after he returned for SummerSlam, it was hovering in the 2 million range. If you look at the ratings for SmackDown now, hovering in the 2 million range. So it's not as though you brought people back to watching SmackDown. You really didn't. All the other shows are dropping as well. And you're talking about appeasing your hardcore fans. Your hardcore fans are watching AEW. So nothing about what he said made sense. I will say I appreciate the fact that he is a really, really good company man. But then again, you're just following in the footsteps of Dwayne Johnson, who I remember CM Punk saying something along the lines of that. Cena's a good suck up to Vince. Not as good as Dwayne, though.
And not as good as Joe either. Yes, it seems like Joe got a lot of people in their feelings, but it seems like Joe has Phil living rent-free in his head. It seems he always has to mention that UFC thing whenever Punk is brought up. But that wasn't the only WWE versus AEW story of the week. We had Sneakergate, ladies and gentlemen, with Top Dollar of Hit Row putting out a tweet on Wednesday saying, and I quote, some of y'all
wow.
I can't saying some of y'all favorite wrestlers only wear sneakers on camera to seem cool and hip, but in real life they rock Vans and Aces exclusively, but y'all not ready for that conversation. This caused a entire uproar with people quote tweeting it, thinking that he was addressing the Young Bucks and their whole sneaker gimmick, their way of generating heat by buying resale prices, $1,000 sneakers. The Young Bucks responded in their Twitter bio, as usually they do, saying that they spent more on sneakers this year than the entire NXT roster did.
Yeah.
Top Dollar responded to all of the heat that he got because of his comment with a diss track where the best part of the diss track wasn't even the lines that he said. It was the fact that he used Let Me In by rapper Young Buck. Genius stuff there. That was a genius move. And he was trending worldwide due to Sneakergate. So Top Dollar was winning in this one for sure. What do you guys think about Top Dollar getting involved in this whole Sneakergate? And what do you think about the Young Bucks response? I'll go to Ness since you are pretty informed when it comes to sneakers. What did you think about Sneakergate here?
Well, the thing about this is I've been following the Young Bucks for a couple of years. So even back, I forgot which year it was, but PWG 11, the world's greatest tag team match, world's greatest tag team versus the Young Bucks in Guerrilla Warfare. They literally took an SB dunk and added thumbtacks to it, to super kick, Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae. Yeah. That was years ago they did that. With dunks, and dunks are a part of the sneaker community. Yeah, so exactly. People that haven't, and then for him to say they wear Vans and Asics exclusively, Vans and Asics are again another form of shoes that are in the sneaker community. So he really kind of made it seem like he was, in my the way I took it, he was trying to downplay one pair or one brand of shoes. I guess to just big up Jordans. But if you are an actual sneakerhead, an actual person that collects sneakers, it's more than just Jordans. It's a variety of shoes that put you in that light. And at the end of the day, you wear them. Why? Because you think they look cool. You wear what you wear. We wear wrestling shirts. I'm wearing this wrestling shirt. You want to know why? Because I thought it was fucking cool. And I bought it. I wanted to wear it.
So, sorry about that, Ness. A decent pair of Asics is gonna run you about $165. Those shoes are not cheap. And he doesn't sound like a sneaker. I know a little bit of something about sneakers. He doesn't sound like a sneakerhead. The Bucks, I run into them sometime in Southern California. Every time I see those dudes, this is for years. Seeing them at the mall, wherever, they've been rocking Jordans, and they're not just rocking like average, just Jordan 1s, like the basics. They're rocking like shit that I rock. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's funny, but I mean, look, man, you gotta look for the cracks. I give Top Dollar that, man. You gotta look for whatever opening you think you could get. I don't think you want to be. I think if you're going to be challenging people, if you're making fun of Vans and Asics, you don't really know that much about shoes, because those, like, a expensive pair of Vans will run you about $120. It's, again, these are not cheap items. I don't know where this vitriol comes from.
So now we just need the story on the next NWA podcast of the time Kris and the Young Bucks went to the Compton swap meet. Like, that's we got to give the people what they want, man.
This was the swap meet in Rancho. This was their hood. I don't think they want to run it at the swap.
So you had to go to Cucamonga to hang out with the Bucks.
Yeah. And I saw him in Pasadena before too.
Okay, so there's a certain line in LA that the Young Bucks don't go past.
Yeah. He was Chris was like Craig visiting his uncle's house, basically. And he ran into Matt and Nick.
He saw him at a Cucamonga Cracker Killers game.
A final bit of WWE. Oh man, y'all are too much. Our final bit of WWE news: Dave Meltzer announced that WWE will not be holding a pay-per-view in December, so there won't be any TLC pay-per-view this year. They're instead focusing on the day one pay-per-view on New Year's Day in Atlanta, Georgia. And then the final bit of news: it has to do with Bray Wyatt, as Andrew Zarian of the NWA Podcast reported this week on issues that Bray Wyatt was having in WWE. He said, and I quote, "Bray was being difficult," and I'm going to fill in a lot. I'm not going to even quote because I have the quote, but I don't want to quote it. He was a little difficult. He had some performance issues in the ring, and he had some weight issues. I'm not saying that that's the reason. I'm not saying that's the reason, but you can kind of piece things together as of to the things when you evaluate a talent and you're like, okay, you need this and we need that. And this is the plan moving forward. You need someone. And sometimes the decision is easier to make if you make it more difficult for them to make that decision. Andrew Zarian added that while there were numerous reasons as to why Wyatt was released and there was a financial reason, Zarian speculated that Wyatt was unhappy with the company. So there is no one reason, he said, by the way, but let me just put it out there. Financially, yes, there was a financial issue. There were plenty of other scenarios here. I don't think he was happy. I would tell you that these decisions are not cut and dry. It's not like, it was a money thing and that's it. Obviously, they're not going to say that, and that will be a public matter because most likely it played a part in money, because you can only like some guys so much when you're losing money. I'm not going to say they were losing money, but I'm just putting it out there like that. There were numerous reasons, not one. So it just sounds like Wyatt was being difficult because he created so many different characters that they ruined and did a great job of ruining so well. And he was making too much money to be that difficult for WWE. So what do you think about this whole real reason behind Wyatt's release, Nate?
I mean, there's always three sides to every story, SP3. You know this, man. There's your side, my side, and the truth. And so I think the truth is somewhere in the middle of all this. And it sounds like, we talk NBA a lot, whenever we link up SP3, and it's like every team has that guy that's a really good player, but not a good player at that price point. Right. John Wall with the Washington Wizards. Good player, not at that damn price, And I feel like with Bray, A, he's making a lot of money, but B, they're not really getting a return on their investment. And that's not all Bray's fault. In fact, I would say it's mostly not Bray's fault. It was mostly the fault of the company and the way they booked him and the way they positioned him. But at a certain point, it feels like both sides were like, yeah, this ain't working no more. Like, love don't live here anymore, so let's just kind of go our separate ways. And I think, we see that the company at least was invested in some of his ideas because they gave it to Alexa. They let her run with that. So I just hope Bray kind of lands on his feet somewhere. Like, the brother's got a lot of creative ideas. He just needs a company that can not only support him, as Chris was saying earlier, but also, like, you got to have that relationship with your boss to be like, okay, this works. You might want to pull back a little bit on this. Like, he needs an editor, I think, for some of these ideas, and hopefully he finds that at his next location, at his next stop.
I hope so. We've been hearing speculations of him going to AEW and Impact Wrestling, but we shall see. Speaking of AEW, we had AEW news and more WWE versus AEW as Tony Khan spoke with New York Post about what he believes about the head-to-head with WWE and how both companies are worth more because of it. He said, and I quote, "If you want to take the commercials out of it, I can do that too."
Yes.
He says I could do that too. It doesn't seem very civil, but I have more money than they do, so I can afford to do that longer than they can. But that's how we make money at the end of the day. So I was surprised when they took that out. This led to some notes from Wrestling Observer newsletter about the perception of AEW and WWE. When asked before, WWE executives have said they're in competition with everyone, not just Khan's company. Vince McMahon noted that AEW wasn't competition in the same way that WCW, but in the Observer, it was noted that the head-to-head may have been due to an article in Variety showing AEW Dynamite was closing the gap against WWE Raw and even beat it twice twice in the 18 to 49 demo. It was noted that the perception within WWE is that Tony Khan will spend and lose so much money trying to compete that they can have a rope-a-dope strategy against him. There is even reportedly talk among people at the top, similar to during the Monday Night War. This battle is unfair to them because they have to make money while AEW doesn't. So far, people in WWE have downplayed the successes of AEW based on the fact he overspent to get where he is. Khan has said that AEW has been profitable in 2021, if not for the upcoming console video game. And there were reportedly internal comments made to McMahon about how they beat Ted Turner, and Ted Turner is smarter than Tony Khan. What do you think about those comments, Chris? I know you're still dying off of the meme, but what do you think about the WWE's inner thoughts on AEW?
I broke the professor.
This level of flexing, man. I understand it. Fuck, man. I guess. I mean, I think it's.
Run it back.
Yeah, I do think that, like, at the end of the day, the proof is going to be in the pudding as far as ratings are concerned. AEW still has to overtake WWE in the overall ratings for, that ultimate stamp. And I think they will eventually. I'm sorry. This goes back to, like, I don't know how caught up you want to be in these kind of, like, things. I don't know. I'm not rich. I'm middle class, upper middle class at best. So I don't know how the rich lives and how they get down. But fuck, man.
Yo, first let the viewers know. Let the viewers know. Take note. This man just came on your network, SP3, and said he ain't rich, but he the only one out here wearing gold-plated headphones. Chris got bank. He just real G's moving silence like lasagna is what that man trying to tell you.
I
but real quick,
it.
on a Ted Turner point, like I think that's a short-sighted point, SP3, when they're talking about, oh, this is the same as Ted Turner. It's like, no, it's not, man.
Right.
The thing with Ted Turner is, Ted Turner had this money, but it wasn't Ted Turner's company and Ted Turner's alone. You had Time Warner, you had AOL, you had all these executives. With AEW, it's Tony Khan. Yeah. And so that's a big difference. And Tony Khan is
the other
with TNT, but he's the one guy.
The other
I do want to add. I was just going to say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ted Turner was the money, and Bischoff was the brains.
Yeah.
This is now both person in one, and able to control everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ted Turner was doing it like almost completely hands off. He was just like, all right, well, Bischoff spent this much this month. He's going to spend that much next month. All right, fine, whatever. As long as the ratings are there, I don't give a shit.
Right. And say what you want about Tony Khan, but Tony Khan is very friendly with the wrestling media. He loves wrestling. He watches this shit when he's got nothing better to do. I mean, he took his goddamn notepad with him to a Jaguars game. I'm not taking any wrestling notes with me anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. So, I mean, it just speaks to Tony Khan's level of fandom and passion for the industry. I think Vince McMahon, he's in the business of making money. I don't know if he's in the business of wrestling anymore.
It's very true, and that brings us to our last AEW note. Yes, he does. He always loves this show. It appears that the card for AEW Full Gear had been linked online after a photo of AEW President Tony Khan holding a sheet of paper from his notebook pad, and it has the matches from Full Gear, according to one Twitter user who put out the card. It was already confirmed AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega will versus Hangman Page. But also the matches on this notepad say Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley, MJF versus Darby Allin, Britt Baker versus TBD, Jade Cargill versus Thunder Rosa, Inner Circle versus American Top Team, CM Punk versus Wardlow, Adam Cole versus Christian Cage, the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express, Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black or Miro or Andre Elio, or Cody's going to beat all of them because he can beat racism. Lucha Bros versus FTR, possibly for the AEW World Tag Team titles. What do you think about this card being leaked here, Ness?
That's fucking pay-per-view caliber card right there, honestly. And the fact that he just randomly, I think he threw that out there to get us talking about it. And yeah, like come on. Even if that's not the card officially, like we're already speculating. You know, Tony Khan definitely has his hand on the pulse of wrestling. So that's in Twitter. First of all, Twitter, you throw anything on Twitter, it's going to gain traction. People are going to notice what's going on with it. So everybody's like, oh, did you see the card that possibly can be for Full Gear? And we're already talking about it. I'm sure he's watching everybody's reactions and everybody's input. Me personally, from the information that I'm ready to just see that alone would could possibly be the card in itself. So he knows what he's doing. He definitely knew what he was doing with that, because he just so happened to have it facing the camera. Come on now. that was an accident.
He saw the camera.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it's just how I love how
that part right there. Like, Tony Khan is way too rich to watch Urban Meyer
with Trevor Lawrence. He's already looking at next year's draft. Yeah. He's like, shit, you're gonna be 0-16 again.
I love how unassuming Tony Khan looks too. You know, like if you saw this dude with his glasses and how skinny he was with this notebook with wrestling results on it and shit. If you were like a random woman and you saw this dude, it's like, oh, this guy's definitely not trying to get laid. But
looking like Rick Moranis Jr.
Yeah, but then you find out he's like comes from a billionaire family. It's like it's just he's the ultimate flexer, man.
We got some great comments here from Wildcard Rule, Slam and Sammy Joe saying Cody beats a Dutchman, a Bulgarian, and a Mexican to defeat racism. And EBB saying Hangman versus Kenny is worth the price alone for me. Been waiting for that main event, and surely everybody else did. And that was confirmed by Tony Khan with Robbie Fox in an interview for My Mom's Basement YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. Impact Wrestling News, a quick note from them. In an interview with the 90s Wrestling Podcast, Heath Slater, now known as Heath, revealed that he has signed a 2-year deal with the promotion after making his debut last year. New Japan Pro Wrestling News. And here comes everybody's favorite time of the show, stick figure time, as we give the updated standings for the G1 Climax 31. In the A block, it's coming down to 4 competitors. It's going to be Zack Sabre Jr., who is 6-1 with 12 points. He's going to verse Tonga Loa on night 17. Shingo Takagi, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, will be versing Yujiro Takahashi on night 17. For Chris, I know you've seen us a couple of times, but to explain, we have to use stick figures because New Japan gave us copyright strikes. So that's stick figure Shingo right here. And he's 6-2 with 12 points. Kenta is also 6-2 with 12 points. He's going to be versing Kota Ibushi on night 17. Kota Ibushi also standing at 6-2 with 12 points. So probably the winner of that match most likely would be the winner of the entire block. On the B block, it comes down to 2 men. Jeff Cobb is the first competitor to go 8-0 in the G1 Climax with 16 points, and he's going to go one-on-one with Kazuchika Okada at 7-1 with 14 points. So Okada wins. He has the tiebreaker and would win the block, but Jeff Cobb could make history by going undefeated in block competition. And in our final news notes, speaking of New Japan, the real IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay is coming to Major League Wrestling. It was revealed on last Thursday's MLW Fightland that he will be debuting. The news was was broke by Alicia Toot. So he should be debuting on November 6th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. So Ness, you might be able to see Will Ospreay live. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's one of the people that I haven't had the pleasure to see Russell live, and he's definitely on my list, top of the list as well.
And then final news note, you got to follow up from last week with our top news story. Fightful Select has learned of 2 specific pitches that were put together for Tessa Blanchard and the female wrestler that she called the racial slur to, the N-word, to that started the controversy surrounding her, La Rosa Negra, to do an on-screen role as well as one off-screen. According to NWA sources, one of the ideas when they made contact with Blanchard during the summer was to get La Rosa Negra and Blanchard together in private to work things out and make good on their issues. We're not sure if this even made it to La Rosa Negra, but another pitch was from Wow Women of Wrestling, and wow, once again from them. Fightful has learned from sources close to La Rosa Negra that they made a pitch was made to her. She could work for Wow, and she and Tessa would appear on screen together in some capacity. It was not specified to us if it would been on the actual show or something for social media, and it varied from an apology to easing tensions. Fightful has attempted to reach out to La Rosa Negra on the matter, and those close to her say that she was insulted by the offer. Nate, what do you think about the latest regarding La Rosa Negra and Tessa Blanchard here?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to that good sister La Rosa Negra. But here's something that might shock you guys. I don't think WoW was wrong in this. Like, they were wrong for signing Tessa, but if you're already to the point where you've crossed that line, then like try to make the best of that boneheaded dumbass decision, right? So like if I'm WoW, if I'm David McClain, if I'm Jeannie Buss, and we've already signed Tessa for whatever reason, the next logical step is, why don't we make a storyline around her and the girl that she wronged? And if in my head, if I'm doing that story, that's La Rosa Negra's ultimate comeuppance. You make Tessa the top heel in this thing, and she gets her ultimate comeuppance. Like, it's bad form in a way, but it's like you've already opened that door. You know what I mean? You didn't already stole your mama's car. You took the keys out of her purse while she was sleeping. You crashed the car. So if you crash the car with your mom, you might as well go buy some beer while you're out. Like, you might as well make the best of this terrible decision. So, yeah, like, it's a bad look all the way around. I think nobody should have touched Tessa until she had a formal apology and really made amends for the things that she's done. The only positive I do say about this WoW situation, and I said it to a couple people last week, is in a way, I'm glad that she signed the WoW, because it's almost like this Doctor Strange pocket dimension where she's trapped in WoW and she can't get to WWE. She can't get to AEW. She can't get back to Impact or the NWA. She's trapped in this pocket dimension called WoW, which not a lot of people are going to watch, and that is where she will spend the rest of her days. So it's a bad situation all the way around, SP3. I think this, though, is probably less bad than actually signing Tessa in the first place.
Very, very true and very well said, brother Nate. But we got to finish up our round 3 of our draft. Final round.
Is Britt Baker still available?
Sister Britt Baker, right, for you, brother. Romeo, you have a comment for our in-chat poll, possibly?
Round 2 was in favor of the NWA podcast. 69%. That's dirty.
Nice.
Versus 31%.
Ooh.
Put it on y'all in that one.
Yeah, we gotta come back. We gotta fight back.
There we go. So you guys got the first pick of round 3. So take it away.
Ooh, this is how they try to trick us, Chris. Like, we just spent 15, 20 minutes talking about all these great news stories, and they try to take our mind and distract us. It's that distraction finish. They try to take our mind off the draft, Chris, but we're not gonna fall for the okie doke. Because I think where we need to go to kick this round off, man, to start it off right for the people, is we need a young lion, so to speak, a young superstar that can anchor our brand when The Rock is off doing movies and selling tequila. And I think we got to go back. To Impact Wrestling and look at that man, Chris Bay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You with me on this one, Chris?
Yeah, I'm definitely. Chris Bay is a homie. I've met him a few times. I'm here for Chris Bay.
All right, we locking it in. Chris Bay, our first pick of the round.
See, this is how you get back at him. What are you thinking, Ness? What do you think? Because you got to come hard after that.
Chris Bay pick. Of course. I kind of want to stay in Impact, actually. Speaking of young stars, this guy's an established star in Impact. Was on course to be Impact World Champion at one point, and it still can be. I'm talking about Moose.
Nice.
Moose.
Nice.
I like it. I like it.
Moose.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who you got? NWA.
Hell of a pick. All right, Chris. That Moose is a great pick, but I feel like these brothers sometimes, you miss the trees because you're looking at the rest of the forest. You missed that tree standing right in front of you, Chris. Earlier in the last round, we picked two brothers that was best for business. The other half of that business group is still out here. You want to complete the set? Like you play a Monopoly. You done already got Boardwalk. Might as well get Park Place. Cedric, Shelton, come on home, brothers. We putting the Hurt Business back together.
I like it. I dig it. That is a good pickup there. Ness, I think we got to come back with a tag team of our own. And I'm going to go to you and StatKing's home. We got to get the StatKing vote.
Ooh.
And let's go with Shane Taylor Promotions. And I'll let you choose who you want to go with Shane Taylor. Who do you want to go with Shane Taylor?
Oh, well, definitely Shane Taylor off the top.
No. That's what I said. I said. Who do you want to go with Shane Taylor?
Oh, man. Yeah, man. See that? Oh, man. That's going to be hard because damn.
First round talent in the third round.
Yeah, because it's like either way, it could. I'll say this. I'll say we go with Moses. Because he's just as militant as Shane. Like he's just as hard hitting. He can move just like him. So yeah, Shane Taylor and Moses.
I dig it. I like it. Over to you, fellas.
Yeah, shout out to Shane Taylor, man. That's a good brother right there doing good things in ROH. Chris, what you thinking, man, for our third pick of this round, brother? You got anybody in mind?
I had on that female tip, I'm kind of torn between Naomi and Big Swole. So I want to know which
family together.
So I don't. I'm thinking Naomi because she's more recent, and she's been world champion before.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one of these sisters, man. Like Naomi is great, underutilized in that company. Swole is on the come up, man. Like I feel like AEW hasn't scratched the surface yet of what Big Swole can do. Plus, we could bring the family back together with her and Cedric on the same roster. I'm gonna go with the professor. I'm gonna trust the professor's gut on this one though. Let's give Naomi a chance. Naomi's our pick.
I dig it.
Y'all could have had a intergender tag team match: Bianca and Montez versus Cedric and Swole.
Yeah,
I know, right?
It could be out there. We could go with Big Swole. There's also Ember Moon. We got to shore up our women's division. So who do you think we should go with, Ness?
Oh yeah, we do gotta. What do you think? What do you think? Because honestly, me personally, it wasn't going to be far as the women's division. I was definitely going to look into the Hall of Fame. I won Charles Wright, but specifically far as Charles Wright, his most memorable gimmick, the Godfather. Come on now, that brings in all the views.
Hey, we got the Godfather, and that means we got the hose. I'm with it. Let's go. Let's go with the Godfather, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
All
right. Wait. All right, Chris. I'm trying to go back in the history on this one, man.
Right.
And I got an idea for you, brother.
Look at him using Google to cheat.
Yeah. It might be a little crazy. because I had to double check. I had to double check, man, to see if there was available tag team partners that we could package deal with this brother to even increase his value.
Did you just have to check the ethnicity on somebody?
No, we know this brother's black. This brother is so black, in fact, that one of The Rock's biggest catchphrases came from this man. One of the greatest talkers in the history of professional wrestling. One of the most underrated performers in the history of professional wrestling. And if you got this brother's picture, I'll be surprised, because a lot of people have forgot about this man. We going to Texas. And it's getting a little cold out here, SP3, because we talking about the Iceman, King Parsons, because mama says it bees that way sometimes.
Oh, okay. I ain't mad at you.
How you feel about that, Chris?
I'm cool with it. I don't know how.
You think that might be a little too specific for the audience to remember?
Probably, but I'm
too
specific.
I'm with it.
Yeah,
a little too specific for the Iceman King Parsons out here.
Yeah.
Y'all so what do you watch your Memphis wrestling tapes?
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Here. See, there we go. There we go.
We could either get King Parsons or a dude that would probably get canceled in 2021. So I'm cool with the Iceman.
Yeah, ain't nobody ever canceled Iceman King Parsons.
Hold on a second here. Is he another pimp?
What's the difference? He's like one pimp for another. One pimp for another. There you go. It only makes sense.
Yes.
I think this is the move to get the woman in here. So who do you think, Ness? You got Ember Moon out there. You got Kiera Hogan out there. Big Swole.
I was definitely in the realm of women's wrestling, but I wanted to go back a little bit. If somebody that's a Hall of Famer in WWE spent time also in Impact Wrestling, I was thinking of Miss Jackie, because we have a pillar in not only just Black wrestling, but pave the way for Kiera Hogan, an Ember Moon, or Mia Yim, Sasha Banks of those statures. So my vote would be for Miss Jackie.
I respect it. Miss Jacqueline is our pick for sure. NWA, your final pick of the final round.
All right, Chris, we need to huddle up on this one because I got a lot of thoughts going through my mind. Now,
right.
So pack it up. That's the meme of the show.
Yes.
That's the meme of the
show. That should be the header for this. Yes. And they might be feeling this here in about a second. Okay. So here's where I'm going in my head, Chris. I got three paths we can go down, and I trust you to choose the path. Path number one is a dude we both love, man. Too Cold Scorpio.
Right.
Path number two is somebody that Ness and SP3 mentioned. We could pick up the gangsters, New Jack and Mustafa, because they haven't been picked yet, right?
Nope, they haven't been picked yet.
So that's number two. My third choice, there you go. Oh man, and my third choice, because I don't believe this brother's been selected either. It might be a little bit of a swerve, bro. And we go pick up that man that's leading Hit Row out here on these streets, Chris. I leave it up to you, man. Out of those options, which way you want to go to close out the draft, brother?
A lot of nice cruiserweight talent you guys picked up.
I'd go ahead and pay some homage to the gangsters. Homage, I'm pronouncing the H.
And that Doom Gangsters matchup, that's gonna be a hell of a fight right there.
Yeah.
That is money. Yeah. That is money. So you're going with the gangsters, Mustafa
Uncle
and New Jack. I think they made the pick for us. I think we got to go with Hit Row. We gotta go with Isaiah Swerve Scott and Top Dollar. We gotta get the trending. We gotta get us trending.
Well, I will say, Too Cold Scorpio. I should have said it earlier in the show.
Yes,
that he definitely was on my list.
He's still out here, putting out bangers.
Yeah. Now we can do the supplemental picks after the fact.
Yeah. Supplemental picks. It'll be on the web.
Wild card rule. Sammy Joe saying Rocky and Tony. Come on, guys. I'm so disappointed. We ain't picked the Rock's dad out here. Y'all had the Rock. I mean, come on. Yeah,
we thought about it, man. But look, we also trying to foster a good locker room environment. We can't no disrespect to that man, Tony Atlas. You just can't be out here looking at everybody's feet backstage, dog. Nah. Not in 2021. We ain't trying to get nobody canceled. No dark side of the ring with our promotion.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised Ness didn't try to get Calvin Tankman picked.
Ooh. You want to know what? I wanted to, but I don't know how familiar, because like you said, we got to play to the crowd. I don't know how familiar those folks are with Calvin Tankman, and that was definitely a supplemental pick for me as well.
Lee Moriarty is still out there as well.
Lee was on the board too, man.
Myron Reed as well, MLW.
And I hate to pull the ultimate black cookout move and show up late and leave early because I got a prior engagement. SP3, so I'm gonna let Chris close it out for us. But before I go, I just want to say that that's how deep this thing is, man. We had a lot of fun with this draft, but it just goes to show you, man, there's so much black talent, not just today, but over the years, man. If y'all want more resources on this talent, Righteous Reg put out the BW 500 recently, where you got a list of the top black talent in the game. Chris, shout out the book by Brother Shabazz that we both have a copy of. That's like an encyclopedia of black talent. Those are great resources. SP3, I appreciate you. Ness, good to link up with you, man.
Please tell the people where they can find you, Nate.
Yo, at in the number 8 MOZAIK at Nate Mosaic on Twitter. Me and Chris got the Nubian Wrestling Advocates on lock. And we also got a lot of other stuff on the Kings of Sport Patreon for you. So I appreciate y'all for having us. Chris, hold it down for us while I'm gone. I'm glad we was able to coexist, my brother, and hopefully the audience, y'all do the right thing, man. Like Spike Lee says, do the right thing, man. Don't vote with your hearts, vote with your head, man. Y'all know we got Dwayne The Rock Johnson, we got Big E, we got Bianca Bel-Air, we got all these talented people, we got New Jack, man. Come on, y'all know where the winners are. That's all I gotta say. I love y'all. Appreciate it, man. And we'll link up soon again, my brothers.
For sure, brother Nate. Thank you so much for joining us. You were amazing. You guys played well as a team. We will see you later, brother. But yes, in the in-chat poll, let us know. No, nobody was picking him. Nobody was going to pick him.
That was definitely there. That wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening, but let us know in the in-chat poll who you think won, Tru Heel Heat or the NWA Podcast. Real quick, we're going to run through the cards for AEW Saturday Night Dynamite tonight, which is going to see AAA Tag Team Championships on the line. The Lucha Bros versus a Max Tag Team picked by Andrade. You're also going to see Dante Martin going one-on-one with Malachi Black. Penelope Ford versus the aforementioned Kira Hogan. Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. The AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament bracket will be announced, as well as a reveal of the AEW the TBS Championship Tournament will be revealed on Rampage next week. And then a dream match indeed of former WWE talent is going to be Bryan Danielson one-on-one with Bobby Fish. And real quick, we'll do rapid fire predictions for Crown Jewel, which is this coming Thursday in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh, the 20,000 seat arena, the most money WWE will make on a show this year. They're going to see the Goldberg of Saudi Arabia, Mansoor, going one-on-one with his former tag team partner Mustafa Ali. These two men broke up just recently on Monday Night Raw, with Ali fed up with Mansoor's happy-go-lucky ways and turning his back on his former tag team partner. John, as the most brown skin and related to these folks, I will go to you first. Who do you think wins, Mansoor or Ali?
This pains me to have to pick against Ali, but Mansoor is winning this match.
Chris?
Mansoor. I know how those Saudis get down, so Mansoor.
The fix is in. Ness?
Yeah, man. So he's like the Arabian Undertaker over there. So
if
that's a streak.
If Mustafa Ali won, there's a risk that he'd be guillotined. So I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Good point. Let's all go for Mansoor. Let's go for Mansoor to hope Ali lives. Queen's Crown Finals. It's going to be Zelina Vega going up against the winner of Shayna Baszler versus Doudrop this Monday on Raw. I think Shayna Baszler wins against Doudrop, and then she beats Zelina Vega at Crown Jewel. Who do you have in this one, Ness?
The Queen of Spades. Just makes sense.
It does. Kris?
Zelina, I guess.
The enthusiasm. StatKing?
Yeah.
I don't watch the shit, so Shayna Baszler.
King of the Ring finals. Yeah. You're gonna see Finn Balor going one-on-one with the winner of Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal. I think Jinder Mahal is gonna win because he looks most like the Saudi Arabia prince, and I think that that Finn Balor will win. Although I want Xavier Woods to be the King of the Ring. Who do you have in this one, StatKing?
This also pains me to have to pick against Jinder Mahal, the Maharaja. He has Maharaja in his name. Raja means king. Maha means great. Like what? Finn Balor.
Kris?
I'm picking Jinder Mahal. I think WWE is. I think he's going to win the whole thing. I think because Xavier Woods wants to win the King of the Ring, I think they're going to give it to Jinder Mahal.
That's how it works.
And then they wonder why people like Kevin Owens wouldn't want to re-sign with the company or anything like that.
That's who you got.
I'm going to pick with my heart and not my brain. My heart says Xavier Woods solely because he wants it. I know WWE does the exact opposite of what our hearts tell us every time, but I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna go with Xavier Woods.
For the Raw Tag Team titles, it's gonna be RK Bro versus AJ Styles and almost a rematch from SummerSlam here. I'm going with RK Bro to get the victory. Who do you got, Ness?
RK Bro, and move them the fuck on. I don't watch Monday Night Raw consistently, but when I had to fill in for the Rated R Superstars months ago, these guys were feuding. Months later, these guys are still feuding. Get this shit the fuck over with. Move them on. Do whatever you got to do between the two teams, but please let this be the end of this shit. End it after this, please.
StatKing.
I'll go with RK Bro.
Kris.
I'm going with. I agree with Ness on everything, but I'm going with AJ Styles and almost. I don't like RK Bro. I know a lot of fans like him. I respect it. I think there's just some white boy thing there that I don't get or understand. So I just hate those two motherfuckers together.
I love it. I love it.
Keep it real, man.
Gotta keep it real. No holds barred match is going to be Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Will Goldberg kill Bobby Lashley in Saudi Arabia? Who do you got in this one, Ness?
The fact that it's no holds barred and the fact that Goldberg has been playing up on the fact that he fucks up in the ring and hurts people, I gotta go with Goldberg. He might fuck around and kill Bobby Lashley. The fact
he almost killed the Undertaker in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia,
to be fair.
And now that it's coming full circle, that we're back in Saudi, and you hurt my son, so now I just got to kill you. I got to get rid of you. And it's unfortunate because it's fucking Goldberg at this day and age. He's not who he was back then, but for some reason we got to keep our kayfabe hats on. Bobby Lashley would be able to eviscerate Goldberg in a matter of seconds, but clearly that doesn't matter. But Goldberg's going to win this.
I'm going with Goldberg as well, Kris.
I'm going with Goldberg as well. I don't think it hurts anything.
Man, you drafted Lashley.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
Yeah. And I don't think Goldberg is hurting Lashley. I think Goldberg is smart enough to be very careful in there with Bobby Lashley. My opinion.
StatKing.
If this was a real fight, Goldberg would last less time than the tomato cans that Bobby Lashley beat up in MMA. So I'm going to go with Goldberg because that still makes complete sense.
Hell in a Cell match is going to be Edge going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. These two guys have been feuding since before Money in the Bank. So this is their third and final match, it seems. I'm going with Edge to win the feud after Seth Rollins broke into his house and started criticizing his kid's painting on the wall. So who do you got here, StatKing?
I'm going with Edge.
Chris?
Edge.
Ness?
Yeah, unanimous going with Edge.
For the WWE Championship, Big E will go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's final match on Monday Night Raw. I got to go with Big E. We've been promoting black people all around, so I would assume this is a unanimous, is it?
Yeah, that would be quite the heel turn if it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Big E is already more popular than Drew McIntyre was as champ. And I'm not even blaming Drew for it. I just think Big E speaks to the heart of people better than Drew McIntyre walking around with a fucking sword and shit. like where I come from, you walk around with any kind of stabbing device, you got to use that motherfucker eventually.
Kind of stabbing device. StatKing.
Chekhov sword. No, Big E should win this. Like, Drew's going to SmackDown. What the fuck? What are we doing here?
Only makes sense, but this one, I don't know how they make sense of it. But SmackDown Women's Championship, you got Becky Lynch, who's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and going to Monday Night Raw versus Bianca Belair, who's going to Monday Night Raw as well, versus Sasha Banks, who is on SmackDown. These women started their feud ever since Extreme Rules when Sasha Banks returned, and now they have the big match in Saudi Arabia, one of the few female matches to happen in Saudi Arabia. Who do you think gets the victory here, StatKing?
I think Sasha Banks gets the win by pinning Bianca Belair.
Ness?
I'm going to go with Sasha. Although, would it be possible that she can retain? And like Charlotte's the SmackDown Women's Champion, right?
Raw.
Yeah. No, she's Raw.
Would they be able to?
They could do the title.
They'll probably do the swap shit. I think Becky Lynch wins. Chris, who you got?
I think Bianca, just because she needs some kind of make good. They played too many games with this woman. She should have beat Becky Lynch, and I think that's a problem too. That she's not even going to be able to get her revenge back on.
I knew that was going to get Jake on.
Yeah. Like what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, you got to do something with Bianca, but she is getting a Raw Women's Championship match on Monday Night Raw this week against Charlotte Flair, so she could win there. Universal Championship matchup, the main event of Crown Jewel. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal title and for the love of Paul Heyman. Who do you think wins this one? I am going with Brock Lesnar to win and to continue this feud, and I think it's going to be due to Paul Heyman trying to help Roman Reigns but accidentally helping Brock Lesnar get the victory over Roman. Who do you think wins, StatKing?
CM Punk.
Great call.
I got Roman winning this one. I don't think it's as much as now the idea of Roman dropping the title is a bigger possibility because they're pushing that Rock match to the next year's WrestleMania. I don't think he's going to lose it to Rock here in Saudi Arabia. I think they'd at least try to hopefully make that title. It would be great to have that title change on day one. That would be a great way to start that pay-per-view history off really, really well. But I don't know. I'm just going to go with Roman.
What do you got, Ness?
I'm gonna say Roman with some chicanery from the rest of the bloodline.
And Chris?
I'm going with Roman too. But I'm not interested in this feud. I know they've done things. I just don't care about it. I want it to be over with. To
be fair, it's been done to death over the last 5 or 6 years, so it's Totally understandable. Producer, have we put together our collage of both teams from our fantasy wrestling draft? If we could put on the screen.
No, I'll do that. Okay. I'll do that after. I'll do that later. You can see the teams on the bottom. I'll do it for Twitter. I'll do that for Twitter.
So
that
Judge,
a long time.
Do you wanna run off the list of the people on each team?
Sure. So for Team NWA, they had The Rock, Big E, Bianca Bel-Air, Street Profits, Doom, Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed. In round 2, they picked up the Hurt Business, Lashley and MVP, Team Taz, Hobbs and Starks, Jade Cargill, Junkyard Dog, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack. In round 3, they grabbed Chris Bay, the Hurt Business, the other half of Hurt Business with Shelton and Cedric. They grabbed Naomi and they grabbed King Parsons, and then the Gangstas, New Jack, and Mustafa. Team Tru Heel Heat grabbed in the first round Sasha Banks, Kofi Xavier, Jay Lethal, and Jonathan Gresham. Harlem Heat, Nation of Domination, Mark Henry, and D'Lo Brown. In round 2, they grabbed Ricochet, Keith Lee, Crime Time, Awesome Kong, Leo Rush, and Dante Martin. And in round 3, Moose, Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Moses, The Godfather, Jacqueline, and Hit Row.
Boom. And there you got it on screen. Producer, do you want to give us the results as we close off Tru Heel Heat 147? Who wins, Tru Heel Heat or the NWA Podcast?
Knock, knock, Sid.
Who's there?
Owen.
0-2?
0-2. That's what Tru Heel Heat is. Because NWA wins 57% to 43%.
That's close.
That was a close round. Honestly.
That's a lot closer than we did against the Distraction. And yes, we are 0-2 in our fantasy wrestling draft. Let's give it to Chris. Chris, you have to. You can get one more solo and do the acceptance speech on behalf of the NWA Podcast.
All right, I'd like to thank you guys for having us on this show. It's been very great. It's always therapeutic to talk wrestling, especially when this is one of your jobs. You know, you got to get this awful shit that you see throughout the week off your chest somehow. It's guys, nice to meet you. One of these days, I hope to get on with Top Guy JJ and Chrissy Love and whoever else.
For sure.
Man. But I appreciate it, and thank you guys for having me.
And please let the people know where they can find you and the NWA Podcast, Chris.
Okay, so if you go to postwrestling.com, you could search Nubian Wrestling Advocates and we'll come up. You can follow me on Twitter at KMEasyDoesIt, like there, wherever there. Follow me there. And just be nice. My feelings are very fragile, so try not to with the name calling and shit like that. Be easy.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, Chris. You guys did an exceptional job in our Afrocentric fantasy wrestling draft. StatKing, you were a great judge, calling it right down the middle. Well, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
Guys, you can catch me on Dark Power, covering AEW Dark, Elevation, and NWA Power. And of course, as one half of the Fusion of Honor team with my co-host, the three-time baby-making champ Ness, where we cover MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor.
Thank you, as always, StatKing. And Ness, I won't blame you like I blamed Top Guy JJ for the loss here. This was a mutual thing. We did a good job, but we just let the victory slip through our fingers. Tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, skinny__Kravitz. I'm right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. One half of Fusion of Honor with my man, the StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers, where we review MLW Fusion, Ring of Honor. You can catch me on Blunt Impact. Every Thursday, we go live 10:15. Myself, Chris G. We review Impact Wrestling. You can also catch me on Joints and Jabronis. You can also catch me on NX3. We review NXT 2.0, myself, Chris G, Romeo Anthony Colon. As shitty as NXT 2.0 is and will always be going forward. If you don't like the show, that's fine. We don't like it either. Just like somebody in the comments said, the best thing about it, come watch the review with us. We'll make it as entertaining as possible for you guys because we all are suffering through this shit together. So, yeah.
Do it together. And you can find me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Tru Heel Heat. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified. Up on the channel right now is the Dark Side of the Ring, the Many Faces of Luna Vachon review with myself and Romeo breaking down the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring. You got Friday Night Warriors with the gang watching SmackDown and Rampage. Of course, become a $3 backer a month for patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat for all our great content over there, and plenty of great content coming up throughout the week on Tru Heel Heat. Tomorrow you got AE Ramble with myself, Jimmy Macaram, and Marcus Cash reviewing AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage from the week. You got True Rewind episode 60 with the Great American Bash 1996 with myself, Romeo, and the gang reviewing that show. On Thursday we're going live with our live watch along of Crown Jewel as we will break down and watch the show live with all you folks. So there is so much to enjoy from Tru Heel Heat. We want to thank the NWA Podcast. We want to thank Professor Kris, Brother Nate for their great job on the fantasy wrestling draft. A great win for them. Thank you to the StatKing. Thank you to Ness. Thank you to our producers. Thank you to everyone who joined us live in the live chat. You guys are amazing. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for Tru Heel Heat 147 WWE versus AEW Tribal Wars with the NWA Podcast. We are signing off until next time.